Hey, Shannon.
Hey. What's up, Jess? Wow.
Nothing.
We are looking
Nothing.
so this is about the best reason for literally everybody to watch our YouTube, because we look fab right now. I'm living for our choice of avant-garde Victoria realness. We are both in fur coats. Jess just shed hers. It's okay. It's hot. We're indoors. You can't wear it too long. But and these glasses, I haven't worn them in a while, but they are like
I love
squares.
this look that's going on right now, to be totally honest with you. I'm really into it.
Well, this was an episode, right? And I mean, whatever. But wait, before we get into the episode, I feel like we have things we got to talk about that are like not related to the exact episode, but will have relations.
Bachelor Nation news.
Yes.
What do you want to talk about first?
Let's talk first about Claire and Dale, because that's a quickie and we'll just have quick little opinions. But yeah, so. Okay,
can we do your opinion on Dale and Claire's breakup in 5 words or less?
Okay, wait, let me think. Okay, it's really hard. I could just do like keywords, because generally, honestly, this whole relationship and this whole breakup screamed Libra, Pisces. That's it. So it's like,
I get it.
Really, the one word I could describe it as is shit show. Like
my 5 words would have been saw it coming, don't care.
And people being like, wow, and Dale might be cheating, or Dale is a cloud chaser and all this stuff. I'm like, we had these talks. Like, was this not a thought that he was immediately gonna, like, come on. And I will give it, the one thing I'm going to give to Dale is that, like, yeah, buddy, I'm not shocked your engagement after 2 weeks of knowing each other and maybe a month of Instagram stalking was a happy ending. Oh no.
Wait, what are you talking about? It was love at first sight.
I mean, oh my God. Well, all I ever got, and we could listen back to our recaps about it, and literally the only thing I always thought was Claire is saying he's the love of her life. It's love at first sight for me, for Claire. Dale was always just like agreeing, like he wasn't making his own definitive statements. He was just going along with it, which fucking Libra. That is Libra. That is the scales. That is finding a quote unquote balance that Libra's like. But this was not a moment of balance, buddy. Like, you don't just do what other people want you to do. Oh God, and he's a Pisces moon. Like, it's literally like, you have a choice of like not doing things if you don't want to do it just because you're on TV. Like, I don't know. So, but I feel like we're going to see Dale on another show. Bachelor in Paradise, another Bachelor appearance, maybe. I don't feel like he'd be Bachelor. I mean, God. Producers would be so fucking dirty if they did that, and I'd actually kind of be like, you know what? Fucking why not?
I live for it, but then I would also be like, I'm not watching. Yeah,
like I hate it, but I'm also like, wow, you producers don't give a fuck. Like, that's hysterical.
Right.
Unless Dale finds a better space of like, maybe I'm not going to do this, and I'm better than this, and I don't want to do this and look bad or whatever. But I just think he's going to be in Bachelor in Paradise. I think it's going to happen.
And you already know that I disagree.
I know we are on the this is why I love this podcast. I love our Gemini risings, because we are the two twins, and we are the one has one opinion, one has the other. We usually find our middle, and also we have the most of the same opinions on a lot of things.
Like, they are like coming from the same like POV, but we like we're like standing in the same location, but like you're slightly looking this way and like I'm slightly looking this way, but we're on the same.
Well, it's like we're the twins and we're like back to back, like
back to back,
and we're together, but then also like But
there's also something over there. Yeah.
So anyway, go your opinion.
My opinion is that I think that it's probable that ABC and The Bachelor will like ask him to be a part of whether it's Bachelor in Paradise or what the fuck ever. I'm sure he'll be asked to come back to something at some point. But I think that if Dale is trying to genuinely, and it totally depends on what Dale's intentions are, right? Because like if he doesn't give a fuck, if he wants to be like, Hannah Ann is claiming she wants to be Martha Stewart, but she's leaning more towards like
Rachel Ray.
The Rachel Ray
Which no
pioneer
shade,
woman. No shade.
What?
But like,
whoa, pioneer. Do not pioneer.
I'm not. No. I'm not saying it.
Queen.
I'm not saying it in a bad way, but I'm saying like Martha Stewart versus like
that lane
single sheet pan chicken enchiladas that are actually just like a weird. I don't
like tortillas layered strangely. Yeah. At least that's like tortillas on top of each other. Whatever. Either way, I saw that too.
Anyway, but so it like totally depends on Dale's intentions, because if Dale is trying to be like actually like Good Morning America anchor or like Mario Lopez hosting like Entertainment Tonight or whatever the fuck he does, extra whatever it is, if that's what Dale wants to do, he will separate himself from Bachelor Nation. But if he doesn't fucking care and just wants the follows, just wants to be famous in some capacity, then he'll go back. But it's all a matter of like what Dale's integrity level is.
And that's where I'm at too, because it's like I
don't have high hopes for his integrity.
I was about to say this is where our opinion stems from the same place, because I know you and I agree. The Bachelor, the show will ask him. They will ask him to be on it no matter what. But it 100% is about what Dale decides to do. If he's like, I want to go on there because I don't care about my whatever, if people think I look like shit going on here. But okay, this is the perfect
I think he
example. Will go on.
This is a really good like parallel, because you think about like Lauren Conrad, right? Like Lauren Conrad could have stayed on the hills and could have stayed in that
what a
space.
Great reference.
Like Kristen Cavallari, and like Kristen Cavallari is doing really well. She has like her home goods thing. She has another show on E, but like she has stayed in the reality TV space. Whereas Lauren Conrad was like, I want to be a legitimate businesswoman outside of reality
she's full
TV.
Lifestyle brand now.
Exactly. So it's like, does Dale want to be the Kristen or does Dale want to be the LC?
Wow. Pointed. Love this Love this. What a great moment. But anyway, enough of Dale and Claire. Enough of Dale.
Done.
Whatever. Dale, we're over it.
Until he's on another show, I have nothing else to say about him. He's off of...
Literally. Anyway, so there's that. And now, so do we want to, Matt James.
I want to talk about Matt James.
Yeah. He's,
I would like to talk about Matt James.
I'm just like not pleased with him, and it also includes him on the show. I'm a little not like he's doing anything bad on the show overtly, but I'm just like not.
Is he living up to our expectations?
Yeah, no. And did I have high expectations? No, I did not have high expectations. Like, y'all can read my fucking astrological write-up about Matt. I'm not having high expectations for this boy.
Matt James walked in and saw the bar that we put on the floor, and instead of saying like, I'm gonna pick up this bar and carry it, he's the kid who just like kicks the ice under the fridge and just like shuffles the bar with his feet and leaves it on the fucking floor.
Fucking Sagittarius.
Matt James.
He disgusts me, but I'm the same sign as him, but it's also like I understand. I see it.
But so there are two specific things that I would like to talk about in regards to Matt James. We'll start with the more lighthearted one first, and it is this shit. Listeners, watchers on YouTube. I am, backstory about me, a fun tidbit, a fun fact, I'm a charcuterie professional, and it sounds like a made-up job, but I work with charcuterie, like charcuterie boards. I work in the space of charcuterie. I'm a professional charcutier. Matt James posted this charcuterie board on his Instagram story that was Uncrustables,
Yes.
Pizza bagel bite things.
Yeah, the bagel bites with the like cubed cheese on it that doesn't even really melt. Yes. Even though like
pizza rolls as well.
There was
and dino nuggets.
Dino nuggets, yes.
And then hummus and what looked like pita chips, which we're getting closer. Like, but not a single thing on that fucking board, including the hummus, would be considered charcuterie. Not a single, maybe the chicken nugget.
So, yeah, right. Like it's like, you know,
if it is a processed, if it's a processed chicken nugget from like Tyson, it's technically sausage. So like that's actually charcuterie. I'll give the dino nuggets a fucking slide, which is the funniest thing.
Yeah. So what's even funnier to me about this moment is that I don't know if anybody else is as deep into it as us and is usually looking at Matt James's Instagram stories, but I also sent like, what was it, like last week? Or it was last week because it was his post kind of like making fun of himself on his one-on-one with Serena P, where she is like, they're eating charcuterie and he's like, oh, I've never had one. And then he made one on his story after that episode, but I sent it to Jess when it was about to expire. Like it was like 23 hours or something. And like, she just didn't see it. But it was also because this is the one we posted on the story today is number 2. But the first one was like Totino's pizza rolls. There was also hummus and pita chips. So that seems to be a theme. It was all brown. That's all I could say. Like, I can't remember what else was in, but it was Totino's for sure. It was definitely probably a chicken nugget. I'm thinking there was another. Oh, it was Teddy Grahams. Teddy Grahams. Yeah. So Matt is enjoying the fun charcuterie moment and is also destroying my life.
Don't you dare call that a charcuterie moment. Don't even.
Yeah. I hate it.
I know it seems silly. I know it seems silly, and I know that it's like a lot of people are like, what the fuck? Like, it's just, I saw a girl get ripped to shreds on TikTok one time because she posted a video on TikTok like, this is not charcuterie, and it's like all of the fruits and like the cookies and shit that people
which is true. It's not.
And then she's like, this is charcuterie. This is not charcuterie. And she had to delete the TikTok because people were going ape shit. Like, why do you fucking care? And I'm sitting at home. Yeah, like, why do you care what they call it? And I'm sitting at home like, because I pour my very literal, I'm doing fucking CrossFit in a giant fridge to make these fucking things for you people. For you to go ahead and for Matt James to call a fucking Uncrustable charcuterie when I'm making this like super beautiful tasso ham and like capicola. And I'm like making all these sausages and like my fucking lamb pastrami that Shannon loves, and you bitches want to go ahead and call a dino nugget charcuterie and like put grapes and candy on your shit. Like it upsets me. It's one of those things where I get very passionately upset about this. This is my life, you guys.
Right? Yeah, it's like your literal job. And so yeah, and again, back to call it a fruit plate, call it a cheese. A cheese plate is a thing. If there's not meat on it, it's not charcuterie. Okay.
We could go off on this.
We're literally, I mean, this is the problem when...
Stay tuned. We're going to have a whole episode where Shannon and I just talk about charcuterie and how all these people are doing it wrong.
So Matt James is charcuterie, but now we'll talk about his body shaming. Context. There was a video that was posted. Yeah. You want to talk about it? Go ahead.
Okay. So there was a video that was posted. We assume that it was posted by the person who filmed it, but no one actually really knows where it came from because it quote unquote originated from a Matt James fan page, which is fucking weird. They clearly did not watch the video before they posted it in its entirety.
Yeah.
But anyway, Matt is trying to putt. He's playing golf with a couple of his friends. His friend who is caddying
by the way, he seems to always be playing golf. No problem.
However, they were trying to distract Matt James during his putt, and then this man started saying things about Victoria specifically, and we can assume that it's in response to the way that Victoria was portrayed on the episode. Like, Victoria versus Sarah, that was like the hot button topic, and she was on the villain so far.
She was on Good Morning Fucking America today or yesterday. No,
disturbed by.
today she was on Good Morning America, which I not approve of.
I think it's disgusting.
Like, why would we giving her a platform right now? She was literally the worst.
I don't give a fuck about what she has to say about anything. I don't care. She's a character on a TV show. I don't care to see her on the.
I liked her response to this whole body moment, which was her posting a picture of herself on her Instagram in a bikini, kind of like, oh, body by Pilates, bitch. Like, it was that to me. I was like, yes, love it. That's a great response. But I don't need anything else from that.
Right. And so the guy caddying is trying to distract Matt James, and he basically says, like, how is Victoria's body? Because, like, it didn't look that great to me. And I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact verbiage.
It was like, verbatim,
but he's saying, like, how's Victoria's body? It didn't look that great to me. But I don't know, man. You seem to like it. Like, you were making out with her a lot. Like, all this really disgusting shit. And if I ever heard anyone speaking about me that way in, like, a private conversation, and they felt comfortable sharing that with the internet, with the platform that they have, it made me feel quite differently about Matt James. And we already knew that Tyler Cameron was a piece of shit. Tyler Cameron's trying to paint himself as this, like, male feminist icon, and is full of it. He's a fucking fraud.
And so anyway, Tyler Cameron and then unnamed men and Matt James all laughing at this guy shit-talking Victoria's body.
Yes.
And then they all are just like, oh, yeah, man. And they don't say anything. Nothing happens. And then the dude who's recording the video, who is annoyingly loud during all of this, it's the classic, like, when you record at a concert and you're singing along,
this close to the microphone
and he's like, yeah, good. He goes, get him, Matt. Yeah, man. Yeah, you gotta get that win, Matt. And it's just like, and part of me, and it's annoying too, because everybody's like, listen to what they're saying in the background. And I'm like, I can't fucking focus on the background because of this dumbass holding the camera. But then the last comment he makes is Matt James's phone is blowing up, like, during this video. And, like, you can hear it going the bling, bling, like, in the background. And they go, oh, man, must be those Colombian strippers that you're always talking
so funny.
to. Man, I just love boy humor. It's just so funny.
Though it's so funny.
So anyway, I'm disgusted. I'm not surprised. I'm bothered. Like, come on, Matt. And the kicker, of course, is that people had been commenting on his Instagram on various posts talking about this, and he has been deleting those comments.
Blocking people too, I heard.
And so, anyway, Matt James on the TV is not showing me what Matt James in the internet world is showing me. And it's no surprise that, of course, they're trying to paint their first Black Bachelor as, like, Mr. Perfect Hot Boy. I'm about to post this on the story. Anyway. Since we talked about all that bullshit, I want to talk about actually the episode, which is cool because I feel like not a lot happened in the episode, so we can kind of, like, get through it. Other than specific dramas. Like, there was a couple drama, but, like, other than new women showing up and then the drama unfolding from that, there was nothing that went on except for, group dates that got, like, that were weirdly short, either or like got cut or whatever. It was a very weird cut. Yes. It was a very weird edit episode.
So we get a cold open of Anna talking about a potential escort with, like, such disdain and such disgust that it really does appropriately set the tone for the episode. And I already know that I am going to fucking hate it.
Yeah, I wrote that in my notes too. I literally go, oh boy, it's a sex work shaming episode. Can't fucking wait. All in caps in my notes. Like, and oh joy! I'm so glad we made it.
I know that we will. It's bound to come up again. I do want to preface this by saying, just because we both did listen to the Chatty Broads episode before recording this today. We're recording a little bit later in the day on Tuesday, just because of some stuff. But it was mentioned on Chatty Broads, and I think that they brought up a really good point that, like, this I'm trying to figure out how to, like, word this properly, because, like, no one reached out to us, but, like, Chatty Broads said that sex workers reached out to them. Sex workers reached out to Becca and Jess and explained that, like, sex work is a dangerous line of work and it's a legitimate line of work. So, like, talking about it or, like, outing people is actually something that's, like, really dangerous. and can really affect their whole ass lives, which is like we get Katie saying to Matt later, like, this is something that is not like high school gossip. Like, this is not something that's like shit talking amongst your friends. This is like
not the
outing
mean girl stuff like that usually happens on The Bachelor, where everyone's like, honestly, like,
you're outing someone for something serious on national television for millions of fucking people. This is not you like chatting with your girlfriends at brunch. This is
also, it's a rumor too. It's not even you're outing, you firmly know this. She's just speaking out of her ass because she's jealous that she showed the fuck up.
Oh my God.
Brittany has denied this.
Podcasts that have not acknowledged that, and like a bunch of podcasts are talking about it. Like, well, she's saying she's not, but like, if you are a sex worker, blah, and it's like, no, irrelevant. That doesn't fucking matter because this specific woman has said she's not. So as far as we are concerned, she's not.
And what I do want to talk about is the women's reaction to this. I'm not talking about it. If she is, then this happened. No. But like, I want to talk about, well, if another contestant were like, it's like if this was a thing, not with Brittany, but like if this actually was a thing that's happening, like what the fuck would this be? So we'll get there because again, that was just a fucking cold open, but whatever. It actually kind of starts.
Set that precedent for everyone listening.
Yeah. Like we are not. So if, Brittany has said no. This is not the case.
We support you, girl. We support you.
And I literally support almost like
whatever your truth is. We've got your back.
Yeah. It's actually funny. I'll get to this later. But anyway, so we start with the episode of Matt just like being bummed out that Sarah left. Or I should say start the actual episode part. Matt's all sad about Sarah leaving. He's like doing the classic. When this is like happens every season when someone leaves on their own, the lead is always like, well, I'm questioning if like other people are feeling like they want to be here, and maybe something's wrong with me if this one person's leaving. And I literally wrote in my notes, just playing this whole fake, what if there will be more women that won't want to be a part of my journey?
Wait, can I say that actually, it didn't bother me because I feel like that's like a pretty strong word for how I felt, but like that triggered a specific reaction to me where I was like, what? Because he's like, what if there are women who don't like me? I'm like, there are bound to be women who don't like you. Like, just because you're the Bachelor, it does not automatically like turn women in love with you. The same thing happened with Peter, where Peter's like, but what if they don't like me? And it's like, it's literally a numbers game, dude. Like, just because you've been deemed acceptable by ABC does not mean that women are just going to like love you.
Yeah.
You don't like them, and some of them won't like you.
Which is actually interesting. I also have a thought on this too later in a couple of the dates when he says some things to women, which I will bring up also later. But anyway, MJ goes, Sarah left, so like bye, like whatever, if you can't stick it out, then don't worry. And then this is when Victoria says the trash took itself out, and we get her good little soundbite. And then this is when Queen Katie, which honestly, I would rather start calling Katie the queen instead of Victoria, because Katie is also a Capricorn like Victoria, but she is the true fucking queen. It's actually really fascinating to watch these two Capricorns this episode, because it is like the two sides of a Capricorn, where one is literally realistically grounded here and is like, no, I'm going to do what's right. I'm the cardinal earth sign. I'm being the forward mover. I'm talking to Matt. I'm confronting. I'm doing this. And not in a totally annoying way, like a lot of women do in other seasons and all sorts of stuff, but like this is a legit problem. I'm coming to you to tell you about it. So, I'm not sitting here. It's not petty. Whatever. But this is when she brings up, she goes, could you guys just stop? Like, she isn't here anymore. What's the point? And this is where I'm like really here for Katie. Cause it's like, like, I also agree with this. I even said something about this on the Men Tell All during Claire's season, where they were all shitting on Chasen and he wasn't even sitting there. I'm just like, hey, like, Katie's like, okay, so she says that. Victoria's like, shut the fuck up, Katie. Literally, just straight up, shut the fuck up, Katie, gets bleeped. And then is basically like tells her that she's so annoying. And Kylie throws this line in. This is where she's like, well, what did it mean for your group date? Because again, there was a group date that Sarah was supposed to be on that's now about to happen. But whatever, on this group date, it's super boring.
So boring.
MJ is just like, playing the whole, like, I'm not going to leave when things get hard. And it's kind of a lot of women saying that over and over. It's the classic, when somebody leaves, all of the women relay the fact, I'm here for you, I won't leave you, kind of stuff. So that was kind of what it was. It was MJ talked to him, Mari talks to him, where Matt tells Mari that he's trying to compartmentalize. Yeah, the other thing that's obvious too about that statement is, so Matt obviously has this huge Sagittarius stellium, right? And that means that, so when you have a sign, that sign is ruled by a planet, and his Jupiter, so he has a bunch of Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So his Jupiter is in Virgo, and it's very, very interesting for me to watch him, because he does give me this weird Virgo energy that he doesn't have. Like, he's not a Virgo, he's a Jupiter Virgo, but it's like that Virgo rules all of his Sagittarius placements. So there is this sense of, I have to do things right, perfectly. I have to, it's like constantly asking the women, well, what can I do for you? What do I do? What do I do? And I'm like, buddy, you're the Bachelor. Like, you don't have to make these women like you as much as even though I like that idea, like, obviously it's a two-way street, and you do want the woman to like you too. Yeah, the compartmentalization part is the very Virgo-ness of him, which is why in his tile on the Instagram, it says his Jupiter and Saturn, because I wanted to include those. But anyway, so yeah, he's compartmentalizing, and he's trying to tell Mari that. And then next is, he says, it's pretty encouraging to hear that these women want to be with me. Well, yeah, like, wasn't that the point? Abigail then is there. She's like, I honestly did not think I would make it past the first night. I'm still riding on that high, which I think is a good thing to say when you have no screen time. Piper has this Polaroid. They take a selfie. Chelsea shows, oh, this is the moment with Chelsea, which I loved. The hair conversation. Which I'm bothered that they gave us this great moment and this great conversation, which, to be fair, wasn't at least we weren't seeing it as a conversation, of more as Chelsea telling Matt all of this stuff and him being like, yeah, whoa, wow, yeah. But she says, so she shows a photo of her mom and her, and in this photo Chelsea has straight long hair. She tells Matt about how she's like, I didn't realize how emotional hair is, especially for Black women. She talks about how she chemically straightened her hair since she was 2 years old, because she lived in predominantly white areas and didn't realize, like, you know, she was just talking about the stigma behind the hair care for Black people when you're young, especially, that kind of thing. And then she even, Matt says, I can't even imagine. And that moment for me, like, all right, buddy, I'm glad you cannot imagine, like, or not glad. Obviously, he cannot imagine being a woman and having this pressure put on him. However, he is a Black man, like, with hair. So it's interesting to me that he didn't have more to say, or at least they didn't show us of him saying more about Black hair, which he has. So that was just a random moment that I was like, Matt, what? Okay. Because he did not say much to her conversation. She brings up George Floyd again, or was it her? Or was it later? Nope. It was Michelle who brought up George Floyd. But anyway, they kiss, Chelsea and him, and then Victoria tells Katie, oh, this is where we're now. We've zoomed away from the group date, and we are doing the Katie Victoria confrontation, where Victoria summons Katie into her whatever space they're in. And it's like, can I talk to you, Katie?
So,
oh boy. Do you want me to transcript this before we have thoughts?
that's up to you.
I mean, I'm down to do a quick little go through it, but it's if I could see you're ready to burst.
I need every single minute of this footage. I need the unedited conversation.
Yes.
I need every single fucking second. I want, from the moment that Victoria called for her, from the moment that a producer set up like those cameras around that fucking couch and knew that this like real world style, we are getting, as we've stated before, like, we know that Game of Roses calls this the professional era, but from where Shannon and I are sitting, no disagreement to that. But the show itself is becoming more and more like a real, like, your stereotypical reality television show by the fucking second.
And the longer that we stay in quarantine, the only deeper that will get, because they're going to have to.
This is crazy.
They, without travel, without families. Well, I guess we'll have families since we did the family last time, but without travel, that's really the big one. Without travel, without these huge grand dates, without all these special guests, it's like, you have to find other ways to fuel drama. And that is essentially, they are pulling from the real world, or for just any reality show where you are stuck in a house.
But like, have we ever really seen any kind of contention like this that hasn't been
this is
taken
like,
advantage of by a 2-on-1? Like, have we ever seen this kind of like in-house drama?
Yeah, I'm thinking about how I'm thinking about, oh, you mean in-house without it like, being a 2-on-1.
It is not fucking involved whatsoever. Like a sit-down conversation filmed to this magnitude, or like I'm sure we had conversations.
I'm thinking.
One-on-one.
No, it's like, because that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking back to like Taylor and Corinne with
like this kind of showcasing of Victoria,
right? Where she's. It's this conversation was definitely completely you're right, completely irrelevant to Matt. He was not even involved. This conversation was not on a date. This conversation was between a date. And
like, have they showcased the villain so much without bringing in the lead by this point?
I'm thinking, without the, you're right. Because without the lead, because I'm thinking like Crystal had her whole dramatic moment where she was holed up in her room and Ari had to go talk to her. And then there was Kaylin and Hannah B's pageant thing early on, but like
Colton knew
all
about that
these
basically
men,
the whole time.
all of the leads are being brought in. This is definitely well, I mean, technically, I guess the lead Matt in theory will be brought in next episode if he follows through with what he says to Katie.
Well, yeah, he has like one at the end.
But it's more of a general thing instead of a specific Katie versus Victoria. Yeah. So you're right.
Right.
Good call. Good note.
But so it was weird. Like, I wanted to see the footage from the time that, because like I said, like the cameras were there. We know that it takes time to set up lighting. It takes time to set up those fucking boxes and the sandbags and like all of this shit that goes into having all that shit set up to record that moment. There's prep, right? You have to get your fucking technological mise en place all fucking together and get it set up. So I want to know what happened from the very moment that this was initiated, like from the very first second that this started to the very end, because okay. You and I have talked about this. And for any listeners who want to go back, I'm going to plug my original podcast that we started doing this on, the Average Bear podcast. Shannon and I actually had a conversation about this unrelated to The Bachelor, about how I have on our astrology episode, we talked about how I personally have a very difficult time watching reality television. Sometimes it's entertaining as fuck. I love to hate watch it, but I have a very difficult time because I sit there at home as the viewer and I'm like, why didn't you just say this? If you had just said this one flat moment, like if you had just laid out the logic in this clear, concise way, this argument's over and you've won. And we watch these reality TV personalities like go back and forth and create this drama and create this yelling. But like, I find satisfaction. I find great pleasure in those moments where like one singular voice is like, but it's like this, and then shuts down everything and there's no argument and it's finished. Like, I live for those fucking moments, right? And you do too. I know you do too.
And this was the moment for Katie because this is also so.
She's the character. She is who I need as a character, as a presence, as a personality. I need Katie as a character in every reality show ever because like that's the character that I'm screaming for. Like, why is no one saying this? Katie is the person that's saying this.
I love it. Yeah, I completely agree. I think, and also that goes to show her chart. Like, so first of all, Katie, I cannot explain how thrilled I am that we have, again, Katie and Victoria's full charts. And so I can fucking think about this.
Confirmed.
And not only that, I was getting kind of nervous at first that all of the confirmed charts we had were like super early out girls and whatever. But Katie did the damn thing. To quote Becca, who is her twin, she has responded. But so Katie's chart is like extremely apparent to me entirely. But I love that it is the battle of the Capricorns here because they're like, okay, they're coming from similar places, which sounds weird, but the only difference is that Victoria is coming from a place of non-reality, of malicious intent, of just being that mean girl, whereas Katie is coming from the actual reality, the, hey, this is not cool, I want to be right, we should be right about this. And it's funny because fucking Victoria is a Capricorn with a bunch of Cancer placements. She's got a Cancer moon, she's got a Cancer Mars, and then more Capricorn. Like she is, and Scorpio. So it's like she's the watery earth person, whereas Katie is the earth. Like Katie is all fucking earth signs except her Sagittarius Mercury, which is where you just said it without saying it. The whole, like, she just says it. She says what you're thinking. She says the blunt thing, the right thing, the right one thing where you're like, dope. And that's Sagittarius Mercury. Usually Sagittarius Mercury's like Matt James can put their heads up their asses, but Katie has so much grounding earth energy in her that she just is like, nah, fuck it. Like I'm gonna just say what I say. And I know that what I'm saying is on it. Cause she really, here, now I'll go to this. This is where I'm gonna go to the actual fight. So, or confrontation, I should say. So Victoria starts by telling Katie that she doesn't like her. And then Katie, it says something about like, I was expressing myself. Cause Katie was like, she calls Katie a bitch, and oh no, that's later.
She wasn't done expressing herself, Shannon.
Yes.
Katie dared tell her to shut up, or dared tell her enough, but she wasn't done expressing herself.
This is
I am now gonna say this every single time I feel like being just out of.
I was about to say this is beyond triggering. I was watching this and I was like, I have had this exact conversation with my mother, who's a Capricorn, and reminds me not only visually, but just so much of Victoria I see in my mother and the way that they react to things, just like very overtly and dramatic quickly. And when she said that whole, like, I didn't like that you told me I couldn't do this and say this in front of everybody. And Katie's like, okay, well, if I'm going to call you out, if I'm going to call, like, Katie was like, I'm going to call you out if you're being a bitch. And that's my favorite thing, because Victoria, I can express myself with name calling if I choose to, is what Victoria said, expressing herself by name calling. That's sick. And I wrote in my notes, all caps, these inverted therapy lessons. She's been in therapy and she heard something about, well, it's good to express yourself in these authentic ways or something like that. And then she just took that as, great, I'm gonna be a bitch then. Like, so which is basically my mom.
Okay. I will say this. We've already stated that the shit that Matt James' friends said about her is out of fucking pocket, unnecessary, so rude.
Yeah.
Little dick energy, like disgusting.
Body.
However, I firmly believe if you are going to exist in the world with name calling is how I express myself, okay. I'm down to live in your world. I am happy to get on my fucking, take a trip on my favorite rocket ship to your fucking universe. I'm down for this. If that's how you want to live your life, then that's okay. I can be there with you. I can exist in your world, Victoria. I'm not concerned about that.
And that's kind of where I'm at with Katie. Why I loved in this moment when Katie was like, because Victoria calls her a bitch and Katie's like, look, I'm going to tell you when you're being a bitch and I think you're being a bitch. Like, first of all, I love that they're repeating the same things back to each other, because again, double Capricornness at each other. But it is, I did appreciate Katie being like, no, like, you're being really shitty and I don't appreciate that and I don't like this. And then fucking,
if you're not prepared to receive the energy that you are giving out, then you have no business giving out that energy.
Yes. So I'm saying, like, if you can't, don't fucking dish what you can't take, okay? And that's God on her Capricorn Sun, Cancer Moon, because she's Capricorn Sun, Mercury. She's like, I'm ready to dish it all my judgments out to the world. But then her Cancer Moon is like, and Mars, because Cancer Mars is like the most defensive Mars sign, and because all they have is defense, because usually Victoria doesn't have much, like, there is some offense with Victoria because she's so aggressive, but it's just like she's saying something in defense of something.
She thinks that she's coming from a place of self-defense. Like, she's on attack mode. And like, that's it. She says it in this fucking conversation. She's like, Katie, I'm not attacking you and I'm not insecure now.
So then she pulls her Cancer Mars passive aggressive bullshit and she goes, you can express yourself with your vibrator and think you're ready for marriage. And I was like, low blow. And then Katie goes, I love my vibrator and I'm confident with what I'm trying to do with my life. And I was like, like I was just like screaming. What I was loving though about this is Katie, everything Katie said, you could tell Victoria had nothing to say. She could not come up with a single thing.
What are you trying to accomplish from this conversation?
My favorite, I have that next. So what are you trying to accomplish with this conversation? What is the point?
If you're not attacking me and you're pretending like you want an apology, then like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, so she's saying she wants an apology. Katie's like, I will not apologize. Victoria goes, I'm not being a bitch. You're being a bitch. And then she goes, if you try to shut me down again, I probably wouldn't. It's like, what? And she pauses between that. She goes, if you try to shut me down, I probably
It's moments
wouldn't.
like this. It's moments like this where like, okay, telling on myself a little bit. You've seen my chart. I'm not confrontational, but that doesn't mean that I don't love confrontation, right? So like, if you want to bring it to me, I'll happily receive it. I wish I knew more people like this. I wish I had someone like Victoria in my life that would say some shit like that to me, because I'd be like,
I honestly wish I had a person like this in my life also, because I could put all of my frustrations onto her.
That's what I'm saying. I would love to argue
on my mother, because literally this is my mother. I'm not fucking with anybody here. This is how my mother argues with me. And it's so frustrating to be in the Katie position, because at first, yeah, you're kind of like, wow, I can't believe this person's so ridiculous. But then you leave the conversation and you're like, nothing happened. Like, that was not that accomplished nothing.
You're talking to a wall.
Made good TV. Victoria did not lead that conversation with anything. Katie only left knowing that was beating a dead horse. Like, it was ridiculous. And so anyway, love the Capricorn off, and we got to talk about more things, but they were this is only the beginning of Victoria and the beginning of Katie. So anyway, Chelsea got the group date rose, because remember, we were still on a group date during all this.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the two people that weren't even on the date had the most airtime on the date.
Yeah. So the next portion is the rose ceremony, and we have after commercial, we have all the women obviously talking about how badly they want to talk to Matt. Victoria says that she's like, I'm going to talk to him first. Sorry, so sad, Anna. I know you want to, but it's my thing. And then she obviously doesn't get to do that because the producers were like, no. But Katie,
this is where I started seeing, like, you know, when you're under the influence and you're like walking on a sidewalk and something is far away and like you start to kind of see it get closer, but then like you blink and then it's like all the way back here, and like you feel like you've walked 100 steps but you've only walked 5, right? This is when this is the moment in the episode in which the red flags for Anna were like back here. And I could like see them kind of getting closer, but then I would like blink and then they would jump back here. And I'd be like, okay. But then the red flags would like start getting closer with Anna, and then I blink and then they'd be kind of far away again. And this is when that's when that started for me.
Yeah. And we'll get to Anna the Gemini.
Oh my God.
I'm going to just start out right now before I get any further and say I'm a Gemini rising, and Anna bothered me this episode. Right. Both of us, we are both Gemini risings. So I don't usually agree with a lot of Gemini slander, but I have a lot of Gemini slander for Anna. Anyway, we'll get to it.
My 2 best friends are Geminis, and I'm usually like, I don't know why everyone hates Geminis. My Geminis are fucking great. But then I see this shit on TV and I'm like, oh.
Well, Anna has a Libra moon. So wait, does she? Wait, actually, I should check that. I think she has a Libra moon. There were a couple of air signs like with swap moon sign. Katie hands Matt his drink and he tells them that he wants to propose to somebody, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. Piper talks to him first. Says that she just was excited to see him, said that this is weird. She says she's glad that he has seen strong women because she won't back down, and she's a strong woman, which I believe it. She's a Leo. So anyway, Piper said that they kiss. Women are talking about being on a steady positive train, yay. And then Kit's like, Kit and him are talking, and he says that he's really into her, and she says that the chemistry with him is there, but she getting some. I kind of missed the second part, but it was like, the chemistry is there, but getting further, it was basically like getting basically getting past chemistry is harder for her. And I'm like,
yeah, it's like she has, the chemistry is there, but like being open is difficult or whatever it was.
He's like, he says that it's exciting to be around Kit and a beautiful, smart group of women, or a smart, beautiful group of women. So I'm like, okay, blanket statement. And then Katie talks to him and he compliments her entrance, but so I'm like, buddy, it's 4 days later.
Been
4 episodes later. What? Compliments her entrance about the vibrator and they're laughing and thinks he's funny and how bold she is. Then talking to Bree and says, I can't help how I feel. Matt's to Bree, I can't help how I feel, and what I feel with you is real. So he's telling Bree they're definitely more like in it together. And then we get Victoria. Victoria finally gets to talk to Matt. She is just saying, basically like, this is so hard. I'm used to knowing that a guy is like interested in me. Which I won't make fun of her for that, saying that, because that is a common sentiment among most women on the show. And usually one says something along those lines of like, it's just so much like, I just know when I usually know for sure, and I don't know for sure with you. And this is Matt says, how can I help you with that? How can I help you with that? As been knowing that he's interested in her, which is funny to me. And this is where a moment where I was like, Matt, you need to stop saying that, because you don't like, she is saying, she's already answered that question. Like, show her you like her. How can I help you with that? How can I show you? It's like, again, he's looking for, and I've done this as Sagittarius. He's looking for a list of things to fit into and isn't necessarily considering that, like, maybe you don't have to do, like, if you don't want to do that list, that whatever, what I said earlier.
Well, so can I tell you what I found interesting? I found it interesting how Sarah was feeling insecure and Matt immediately turned around and was like, I'll come here every day. I'll come here and I'll visit you every fucking day. But then Victoria says, I'm feeling insecure. And he's like, so what can I do? Which,
okay, that tracks, because with people I really like, and
the effort is amplified times a fucking
especially
million.
As a Sagittarius. Sagittarius is, we don't fucking care. If we don't care about it, we literally don't care. Like, if I don't care about the dude on the street that's walking around, I don't care about him. Like, it's just, I don't care. So it's like, when I've been in relationships where someone's like, I want this and need this from you, I'm kind of like, okay, whatever, like, I guess.
Like, maybe you'll get it, maybe you won't.
But then I'm with someone I like, and they're like, I need this. And I'm like, amazing, I will do that for you. Love you. Like, you're just like, so I get it with Matt, and that's, again, back to where I feel like most of the time he says that phrase is talking to women that are, I think, not going to be in the top 4 or more. So it's like, anyway, so
it's like, you have to be here for the meantime. So like, how can I make your experience as enjoyable as possible while you're still here? Because you will not be receiving an engagement ring by the end of this.
Fucking Sagittarius. But anyway, so then this is when she does not get to answer his question, because this is when Chris fucking Harrison walks in from the shadows like the creepy ass boogeyman. That screenshot you sent me of it was so funny. So he takes him and he's like, can I take you for a minute, Matt? And takes him out front.
Wait, no, he doesn't even like ask. I don't know exactly what he said, but it was
he's like, Matt, could you come with me right now?
You.
Yeah, he was more aggressive. He's like, I need you right now. Thinking about,
you think that there was like an emergency, like something's wrong with someone in his family.
Well, that's kind of what I thought. I knew it was happening, but like, that's kind of what it looked like Matt thought. It was like, oh shit, like something's wrong and I gotta go. Like, and then he awkwardly hugs Victoria. She's like, bye. And it's like that classic
later.
The classic hug where it's like, she puts her shoulders, like she's like, bye. Like, she's not even like really hugging him. She's just like letting him hug her. She's putting her arms her hands right there, whatever. So this is when so Chris Harrison walks him out front, where the limo entrances were, says that, you might have met the woman or you might have not, or whatever the fuck, basically, you might have met the one or not, but essentially being like, maybe there's more. And it's so funny because you can see Matt's Libra Venus panicking. He's like, oh God, more women I have to choose from. And he really does have this moment of like, okay, breathe. And then so Matt, let the journey continue. And then we cut the exit. And then meanwhile, all the women are watching this happen from like up in the windows, and they're asking, oh my God, do you think Sarah's back? Is it Sarah? Which is funny because I'm like, not yet, bitches. But then we have commercial and we go into the limo exits, and Brittany is the first out. So I'm gonna run through real quick.
Do it.
Brittany is a Aquarius sun, a Scorpio moon, a Capricorn Venus, and an Aquarius Mercury and a Pisces Mars. So out she comes with her full ass fucking Cap Venus. Like, she's just like, I'm going to plant one on his face. And she tells Matt, I want to make up for lost time. And she grabs his face, 2 hands, pulls it to her, and she makes the fuck out with him. And he pulls back all like, oh, like whatever. So that was interesting. And Victoria, of course, is like, so you, or Victoria, no, wait, first, before Victoria was, I think it was Anna. I don't have a quote, a name on this quote, but I have it written down. But because it was playing over the walk-in of Brittany, who is literally sauntering just the full, like, walking the runway. And someone goes, ew, why is she walking like she owns this?
I feel like it was Victoria.
No, I don't think it was. I would have said it was Victoria if it was, because her voice is so shrill.
Maybe it was Anna.
Honestly, it was Anna. Okay. It was either Anna. In my mind, it was either Anna, MJ, Mari, or Anna and MJ are my top 2 thoughts, because they were the ones who were so aggressive later. And it did give me MJ or Anna. They have a similar tone of voice, which is funny because they're Sag and Gemini opposites. But anyway, so that was that. And I think that, but this is when Victoria, so Brittany walks in, and the first thing, she doesn't even say shit. And then Victoria's like, so what, you quarantined and were saved for a backup? God, you're so fucking savage. And what's funny to me too, did you know how they show some of the women who were kind of just like, you can see me on the YouTube, you'll be able to do it, but they're like kind of doing that like quiet chuckle to themselves, because it's like
behind their hand, like
it's because they knew like, and I'm thinking about the women that are like Lauren, the women who are kind of Maggie quiet, and they do not participate. There are some women who do not participate in any of the bullying or any of the bullying is a strong word, but any of the hate towards the new women. There are some of them, but you could kind of tell that they were the ones kind of just like chuckling to themselves, because they all knew what Victoria was going to do. Like, they all knew that Victoria was going to lash into one of them, and the first girl out made out with Matt. So of course Victoria is hot off the fucking jump with it, and is like, and then Brittany's like, no, they wanted to save the best for last. And then they ask her like, oh, Brittany, like, what was your entrance? As if they didn't fucking see it. And which, again, back to real world. And then at that point, she's like, yeah, well, I just like walked in and I told him, make up for last time. And I kissed him. And then all of them, you could just feel the energy in the room go, like, they're just like daggers flying out of eyeballs. Like, Brittany is already, and this reminds me of like when Spencer came in and was the first new guy for Tayshia's men. And it was different because it was a new bachelorette, but like there was still a new batch of men. And so it reminds me when Spencer came in all hot off of it too, kind of like, best. I think he did say best for last or something along those lines. And he was just real hot about it. Yeah. And so it's just funny that, like, again, the public enemy number 1 ends up being just the first one to walk out. And all of the women got it, but it was definitely Brittany who got the brunt of it, obviously because of her rumor later. But this is when in fucking Victoria, in her interview moment, says she's a salor. That's slut and whore. And I'm like, bitch, how old are you? I have not said that word or thought of that word since like middle school. Like,
maybe, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm 12 years old and I just learned what slut and whore mean, and it was funny. Like, oh my God, she's both. Slore. God. And so this is when, okay, so after all that, finally we get Michelle's entrance, which is just kind of hold hands and look at each other and say nice things. Catalina. Jess. Wait, baby. How loud, I'm looking at Olivia, how loud did I scream when the girl in the crown came out? Remember? Olivia's.
You were panicking. You knew.
When Catalina stepped out in her sash and crown, I was full blood curdle screaming. I was like hitting the couch. I was like, oh my God, no, like not a queen, no. And Victoria only just
Shannon.
And Catalina
Shannon.
even had a queen intro line. She was like, she literally said to Matt, like, I'm here as the queen, as your queen or something. Like
it was that she was Miss Puerto Rico universe.
Which badass,
and that now she who was it? Was it Chatty Rods or was it Game of Roses? That was like Mari is fucking shaking. Like
I
No, you
screamed
don't.
bloody murder seeing this crown on Catalina's head walking in, knowing that
Because you knew,
Victoria
right.
was going to do some shit. However, I did not clock that the preview of that from the very beginning of the season, the first preview we see of the whole season, Victoria has the fur coat on. She has her fur coat and she puts the crown on her head and she's kind of in the screen like with the crown on. I did not clock that was this, and that wasn't even the crown she wore walking in. I literally fucking screamed bloody murder because I could not believe that bitch had the audacity to literally yank it off her head and put it on her own head because I'm the queen, like Victoria. She plays the same line again. And I was really impressed with Catalina.
Oh my God.
I felt bad because, what the fuck are you supposed to do in that moment where you've just walked into a big group of women you don't know, seemingly, Brittany and Anna, but you don't know, and you're just in your entrance thing. Like that was, what's a bummer? Like what I kind of love about this moment with the producers, obviously the producers picked specific women to bring in later. I think the producers did they were like talking to all the women about their intros and they were like, oh, 2 queens? But they saw Victoria and were like, oh, this character needs to be full screen time on since episode 1. And they were like, we'll just bring in the other queen to rattle her with the next group of women. Because again, I firmly believe the plan with the next women, the 5 new women, was to get Michelle in for Matt specifically to make Matt be like, ooh, hard eyes. Brittany and Catalina to rattle the women because that was and then unfortunately I like Ryan and she got a rose and is here still, but Kim RIP did not get a rose. Pisces Sun Queen, love her. Kim our roseless queen was Pisces Sun, Virgo Moon, Aries Venus, Pisces Mercury, Gemini Mars. Also, 3 of the new women had Gemini Mars: Catalina, Ryan, and Kim.
Interesting.
So Michelle's entrance is chill, and then next is I don't even have notes for Kim's entrance and.
Well, because with the exception of Catalina's outfit, none of the entrances were gimmicks. They were all just women, like very basic.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously with the exception of the makeout, but like, but this is another moment when I was telling you about like those Anna red flags that were like coming towards me and then jumping back and then coming at me again. This is actually a moment in my notes where Okay, I'm just gonna read you the paragraph in my notes because I really can't even like paraphrase. But like, I want to talk about this little smile that Anna had when Victoria is like calling Catalina over, because I made a note of the fact that Anna is sitting there, and Anna is that girl who, okay, I don't know Anna personally, but it's like, okay, if what I'm about to say seems incorrect to you at all, please call me on it. But I feel like you probably will agree. And obviously, disclaimer, this is from within a vacuum. I don't know Anna personally, but
we are able to judge her. We are watching her on a television show, which she has signed away her life rights for.
Anna
she is on TV doing this. So
my POV, my perspective of Anna, and honestly, like nothing else happened in this episode to change my fucking mind. And I sent you a thing that I was like, Anna spent this whole time prepping for the show, promoting for the show, thinking that they were going to show her all cute and quirky. And I genuinely wonder how prepared she was for this fucking villain edit, because this is now my perspective on Anna. Anna is that girl that's friends with all the mean people in high school and is the one that everyone's like, no, but she's so sweet. Like, she's so nice. And what you don't see is while those other bitches are bullying people, she's the one that's standing behind, like not necessarily saying anything, but she's loving it. She lives for the drama. She doesn't want to be held responsible for the drama. She doesn't want the drama to be in her hands, but she fucking lives for it.
Oh, my comparison that I want to make, my pop culture comparison. Anna Anna gives me Regina George vibes. So, and that sounds very intense. Not a full ringleader, but the way that...
No, Regina George is full ringleader, though.
Oh, no. Regina is. Anna is not. Anna is not the ringleader. You know what I mean? Anna is a player and among all of this.
Oh, okay.
Regina is a ringleader. I'm saying Anna is... Okay, so what I'm thinking of is...
Sorry, I'm like trying to make sure that I'm like understanding.
No. Yeah, you're good. Don't worry. Whenever that girl says, Regina wore khaki pants and flip-flops, so I wore... Or when she...
Katie. Yeah.
Cargo pants and flip-flops. Oh, thank you.
Army pants and flip-flops.
But
So
anyway,
I
haven't seen that video. But then also the same thing of she told me she liked my sweater, but actually, and then she's like, oh my God, I love your sweater. Oh my God, thank you. My grandma gave it to me.
That's
or whatever.
the ugliest effing skirt I've ever fucking seen.
Skirt. Thank you, skirt. Fuck. I really haven't seen that movie in a while.
Oh no, you're fine. Don't worry about it.
But that is what I'm getting from Anna, which is Gemini. Okay. So I do not like the two-faced stereotype for Gemini, because generally Geminis are people who change their mind and are people who aren't always portraying themselves as a complete liar. However, that stereotype comes from a place like Geminis, when they've not done the kind of work, or when they're just at their worst, like when they're triggered into a toxic place, which is basically Anna. Anna is stressed that she has not talked and made a connection with Matt. She is jealous that Brittany made out with her. I don't even think Anna has kissed Matt. So I think that she's jealous of Brittany getting to make out with Matt, jealous that people are getting other time. She's not seemingly had time, et cetera, et cetera. So she's taking that aggression out on these women instead of, realizing that it's all a fucking game that they're meant to be tortured from.
Well, Shannon, this is like when I said it, sorry to cut you off, but like at the beginning of the episode, when I said I'm going to use this phrase so many times, but like being a victim of your circumstances.
Yes.
Like I literally have a note that says, Anna keeps complaining about time, but it's like, go fucking get it. Yeah. Like, what are you doing?
So Anna is doing a lot of nothing, but she's lot of
blaming
talking.
Everybody else.
She's being a Gemini, and she's sitting there being so she's Gemini Sun, Libra Moon. She is being the social gossip. Libra is the ones who has all the friends and all the groups, and hot take for everybody, Libras, and I'm looking at you, Rachel. Libras usually are the mean girls. Like they usually are. Venetians usually are the mean girls. Venus and Taurus and Libra. And it's because they are, and I say this usually especially in high school. I'm saying that in more of a the classic mean girl trope. Obviously it's different when you are an adult and you can't have those same clicks and moments of being the mean girl, right? But Rachel already has exhibited that she has her army of friends coming to attack everybody who calls her racist, and is generally, being that. So it's interesting to me that Anna has all of a sudden, which Anna, you're fucking out here, you're bait switching me, you're showing me that you're voting and donating money to Bernie, and yet here you are fucking sex work shaming on my television. I am disgusted and I hate this. Like I hate that had to happen, because the only shit that we could actually find is that Anna was the only one who actively donated to a literal, legit liberal moment instead of just bullshit, a Biden donation or some shit toward close to election day. You know what I mean? So I just was bothered that Anna immediately took this flip switch. She did the Gemini thing where she just was like, oh, wait, I hate someone now. And so now I'm going to, as you said, smile in the background and start my moment of laughing and loving the fact that Victoria is shitting on these new women, and I don't have to say it. Anna also Libra and Rachel and more so MJ and Rachel are the two main talking heads at first, just being very unhappy about the women. Then Matt walks in and says he's still in shock. Nice surprise. Happy to have you. Oh, I don't have a glass, but here's a toast to the new arrivals. Victoria asks Matt if they can finish their conversation, and then they go. And then there is just endless tense. I have it in my all caps, tense silence. And I even think that the closed captioning was tense music. Catalina's just standing there in the corner. They show her. She's just like, like with her full pageant smile on, just like vibing in the corner. Love her.
I feel so bad.
I feel bad for Catalina. She's doing her best. So Catalina, okay, Katie then is like, okay, guys, we're all invested, but basically she's like, we're all invested and it's kind of hard that you guys are here, but also kind of was trying to be like, but here you are. So this is a moment that I'm going to insert really quickly, just real quick. So watching the internet react to last week's episode and Sarah and the bullying comment was interesting. And I was defending Sarah on our recap, and not in a full, like, I wasn't defending her moves. I was more of being like, good girl, like she got that fucking time with Matt. But I am intrigued and thinking about now, especially after watching the women with the new women, the OGs, I should say, the OGs as they call themselves.
Oh, you mean
Varsity Squad. So they versus the new women, it was very alarming how quick they were to be nasty. And not just Victoria, Victoria, Anna, MJ, and more. MJ was another one that I was very disappointed in this episode. And so to me, it's not to say that I think that Sarah was fully in her right moment of feeling like, a victim, but I'm now kind of there's just more puzzle pieces aligning in my brain. And I'm kind of like, this might have been a little more aggressive than we saw. Maybe they didn't include everything. Maybe there was other conversations, who knows? But I could understand why Sarah felt that way, especially watching this, because these women are very quick to jump, like and on anything. And so I just am like, oh, this is a lot. This was just a lot to process all at once, because again, it's all these women who are posting about woke shit on their Instagrams and then are like tearing each other down. I get you're in quarantine and we're all on the TV show and drama is fun and you're being goaded by producers, but.
And that's it. I wish that I know that it's not a Big Brother type of situation. And if it was a Big Brother type of situation, this would be a fucking monster. This show in general would be a thing that no human could control, right?
It would be amazing. Big Brother Bachelor, let's go.
I'm down for it, honestly. I would watch it. I'm not saying I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But it would be a disaster.
It would be a literal shit show.
Of epic proportions.
Wait, it would be, honestly, Bachelor in Paradise should be Big Brother. The regular Bachelor, whatever, but Bachelor in Paradise, they're all stuck in that fucking house anyway. Whatever.
Get in the DMs, start sending the emails.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, like, I'm curious how much of this, because I agree with you. I feel like, from my perspective on it, and like we disagreed yesterday or last week on just like the overall not handling of it, because we knew that the women were aggressive. We knew that the women were doing too much, but like, I don't want to say the word justified, but for lack of a better term, thought it was more justified. For the listeners, I'm using air quotes.
Yes.
Like, I thought that like Sarah did something more fucked up.
Yes, agreed.
And, like,
that is the difference. For sure. These women just showed up.
Wait, actually, I want to shout this out really quick, and I want to make sure that I'm getting the names right, because there was a post that's since gone viral from two women that we follow on Instagram and two women that follow us. We've corresponded with them before, but the Black Trilorettes, Vic, and I believe it's me. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm sorry if not. I had the mind to actually message them earlier, but they had this whole post about like bullying versus accountability, and like, were the women necessarily ganging up? And you are correct in the sense that there's so much footage that we didn't see. So like, there's so much missing from the puzzle in general that it's impossible for anyone to tell. But
unfortunately too, Victoria's comments to Sarah about being trash, get out, and
that's saying it. Is that like Victoria's fucking it up for everybody. Right, like there are so many women that are holding Sarah accountable because like Sarah and Crochet accountability wasn't hers. Yeah, and like they made so many good points, and like Taylor Nolan's commented on it and shared it. Like it's picked up a lot of traction because it's very honest and like pretty accurate. Like it's a pretty accurate portrayal on like what went down and like what didn't, should have, shouldn't, what should be expected, what's entitled, like whatever. Yeah. And I think that I wish that we could see more of what happened. Like, anyway, cycling it back to the Big Brother type thing, because I wonder how much of it is like this group of women just being nasty women, and then how much of it is like this escalation of like, we just had fucking Sarah taking up all this time and now there are new bitches, because like we see it in Anna. We see in Anna where it's like this, like,
Anna's losing her mind.
I hate to make the comparison, but when we watch Anna, we see this almost like Stephen King Shining-esque like escalation, and like you see her getting more and more
alarming
like as it goes on, and it's like the more women get thrown in Anna's way, even though Anna's not taking the initiative, Anna's not going the fuck after it. Like if you want to go, they allowed Ed to walk to Chris Harrison's villa. You're trying to tell me that if Anna didn't desperately want the time, she couldn't find the time?
She wouldn't be attacking him at any moment.
And if it truly is, and at that point, like if it actually is that difficult for Anna to get the time, like let's say Anna does care that much and Anna is trying to like find Matt in all her
she won't be sitting there bitching about having no time.
Like no, not even that though, but like if she's trying to and production's not letting her, then like who the fuck is she to get mad at these women? Like then she needs to take a reflective.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, exactly.
It's either production or it's Anna.
She is projecting
those are the
all
only
of her
people
anger.
that are to blame.
Yeah, she's projecting her shit onto them, and it's trash. But
so
and also, what's funny about this is she is, God, she is literally, her chart is, in my opinion, the definition of all talk, no action, because she is Gemini Sun, Gemini Moon, Libra Moon, Gemini Venus. So there's the all talk, the air shit. But then her Mercury and her Mars are in Taurus. And the Mars in Taurus is the key, because Mars in Taurus is in detriment. Mars does not like to be in Taurus that much.
Well, I was going to say, when we get to her fucking apology, her actual conversation with Brittany.
Yeah. That was fascinating. Again, yes. But so she is, this Taurus Mars, she's not, like you said, she's not making her own initiative to actually do something. But that Mars is sitting there stewing, and she's basically sitting on the couch with all these women. I haven't talked to Matt, and you've talked to Matt for 20 minutes, and you've talked to Matt for 5, and you talked to Matt for 75 seconds. And
Shannon,
she literally is the time police.
You bring it back to the beginning of the episode, and Victoria makes the comment where it's like, so Anna wants to go first, which means that it's something that's been discussed with the women that Anna is going to go first. Anna at some point or another, or someone has expressed that Anna has not had time. And there's been some kind of general consensus among the women that because Anna has not gotten time, Anna should go first.
Yeah.
Right. So
like Victoria's like, fuck you, I don't care.
Right. So, that's exactly it. That's exactly like the point that you're making. And it's shown in the episode that like, it's been discussed and she still didn't manage to get it. So like it's either her own fault for not pulling the trigger, or it's production's fault for keeping them apart.
Yeah.
And her anger is severely misplaced and she needs to wise the fuck up. But like I said, I've got more to say about Anna when it comes down to it.
Well, so anyway, this is when
I'm so passionate about it.
So after, I know, I'm literally like, okay.
I'm like, my heart is racing. I'm sorry to
see you over there
yelling.
On the YouTube.
I feel a lot of feelings about this.
I do too. I mean, it's also, I feel like, you know, you and I both, I feel like most women in general watching this have dealt with someone like Anna, which is why it's so frustrating. Because Victoria is someone where I'm like, she is a massive caricature of an exploded person, but Anna is someone I'm more likely to meet day to day.
Anna's the snake in the grass.
Anna's
the mean girl that you don't know is a mean girl.
Anna's the girl who's like, vote for Bernie, woke feminist.
That's what I mean. Like, you don't know.
You like her, and then all of a sudden
she doesn't like you.
So anyway, this is when Anna has now separated herself seemingly from the group and is talking to, just kidding. This is in her interview. Anna says, I don't know anything about her, referencing Brittany, except she made out with Matt. And I think it's funny that they included this statement because this dumb bitch Gemini is like, I don't know anything about her except for the fact that they made out. But I also totally know this thing about her that I haven't said yet. And then Victoria tells, so then Victoria tells Matt in their little moment, because God, I love this. Victoria tells Matt, I think we'd be a great match. And he says, agreed, which I'm like, are you even, Matt is literally nowhere. Like, he is not here. He's not present if he says that he would be a good match for Victoria. Like, absurd. Like, I know that they are, I know he's not involved in most of the drama that Victoria is causing, but it's like, you haven't heard from a producer that Victoria's fucking nuts? Like, okay. And anyway, then Brittany, of course, is in the corner like, can I steal you? Oh, wait. Yeah. And she goes, hey, Matt, so finally great to meet you. And then she says, it's been so crazy in my room. And not a lot of girls are happy to see me. And it's funny to me that she's telling him this. And also I love this because, again, they're in their rooms just like fucking doing nothing.
Sitting there waiting.
So back to the other, literally all these other women, the new women are probably like, yes, people, friends. And then they're like, oh, fuck, they all hate me. No one
like isolation again, please. Like, please
no one
take
was
me back to quarantine.
No one was set up to win here.
No.
So then back to the other women. Kayla. This is where I wrote Lauren, but I meant Kayla. Kayla is angry and is literally saying, like, I'm angry that this is happening, but she's not being a bitch to these women. Like, again, there are women who feel things about this thing that are also not hurling insults and bullshit at the new women. So I'm like, good for you. So Kayla's one of them, and she's like, I'm happy, but whatever. And then he talks to Ryan, then he talks to Kim briefly. Catalina is then like, when I saw you, like, oh my gosh. And I was like, okay, yeah, same as half the fucking women. I'm like, it's
everyone
like, it feels
said the exact same thing.
They all were like, wow, he's so hot. And it's funny because Catalina is a Sagittarius, another fucking Sagittarius. Mari then is in her interview moment saying that she's concerned about her feelings. And then Michelle talks to him and she asks him, are you that down-to-earth person that'll be there for those around you? And he was like, yeah, I want to be myself. I want to be my authentic self on this process, whatever. So Anna is now this is when she's fully starting to unravel, is so annoyed. It is like, I haven't even talked to him and we're about to have a rose ceremony. Which to me, I'm like, can't wait for her to get a rose, and they keep talking about it. So then we have the rose ceremony. Chris arrives. Mari is like, if these girls are going to jeopardize my rose, and Mari was showing her Ariesness. She's like an Aries. She's got 3 Aries. She's so much Aries in her chart, and it's so funny because she was showing her competitiveness hardcore because she was like, if these are going to jeopardize my rose, and then she's obviously like in the next day, all the dates, just like killing it. Mari's kick ass. So anyway, rose ceremony. I made a note that Chris was talking to Matt and he called him Maddie. The rose ceremony. So MJ gets the first flower, which interesting. Then Piper, Bree, Maggie, Michelle. And then I had 2 comments on 2 women getting roses. One of which was Michelle's. And I said, damn, early placement for her. Like that's the 5th fucking rose. And you've barely spoken to the man. Good. Damn, Michelle, which obviously we see later is a moment.
He's into it. He likes her.
Yep. Then Mari, then Ryan, also new girl, Kit, Serena C, Abigail, Katie, Victoria. And then my other note is for her, which is, wow, not last. Lauren, Brittany, Jasenia, Anna, and then, of course, Anna, because she's talking over the whole thing, like, I'm not going to I'm freaking out. And Anna, the second she is called for the rose, is like, yay! Like, you can see her personally reaction when she gets it, and I'm just like, girl. And anyway, Catalina gets the last rose, and going home are all the Ks. Kylie, Kim, and Kayla, except for Katie. Katie is the only K that stayed. So I was bummed that Kayla left. I was also bummed that Kim left, because Kim, let's talk about Kim for 5 seconds. First of all, Kim is gorgeous. Follow her Instagram. It's Kim Away With Me. And so first of all, back to when we had the original list of women months and months and months and months ago, we talked about Kim, and I followed her on my personal account. And by the time this show started airing, I was like seeing her on my page, and I was like, I can't remember why I followed her. Did I like meet her on Tinder? And LOL, which honestly, but then I was like, wait, that's why. I forgot she's on The Bachelor. She's so hot. It's absurd. She looks so good. She dresses flawlessly on her Instagram. She is such a cool, down-to-earth person. And also my favorite thing too about her Instagram is you can tell she is at home. Like, she can tell she's spending time only at home and is not doing a fuckload of outdoor COVID shit because she is a nurse.
Yeah, she's a healthcare professional.
God.
Yeah, like, Kim's fucking sick. Like, Kim's been spreading the good word, like, sharing her experiences, sharing real information in a land full of misinformation. So that's been incredibly pleasant and very refreshing.
Yeah.
So we stand Kim. We love Kim.
Yeah, and let me just give you Kim's little chart real quick, because it is really, I honestly love Kim's chart. Like, I would be friends with Kim. She's a Pisces sun. Well, I will say she's a Pisces sun, Virgo moon, which is Claire's big two, sun and moon. But the Virgo moon is actually so classic for the nurse. But then she's an Aries Venus, a Pisces Mercury, and a Gemini Mars. So love you, Kim. If you are listening to us, we wish you weren't 9-1 and you looked amazing in your dress and great boobs. Okay. That's
we will support you in whatever it is that you choose to do after this.
I will say. Yeah. But then also I'm bummed about Kayla and Kylie going home. I liked Kylie.
Likewise.
I'm bummed that Kylie got no screen time. I thought she was super sweet. I thought everything we saw of her on the show was also great. Like down with Kylie.
And
I truly love to see it.
I
Well,
love it.
anyway, so and then Kayla with the car intro and the great intro limo entrance. Gosh, what a bummer.
Sweet healthcare advocate. We loved her.
Yeah. So
Good community
anyway,
work.
now we have a group date. So I'm gonna blow through this bullshit, even though this great date
Sure.
was hysterical because of the fucking scavenger hunt. So the date is Mari, Bree, Abigail, Brittany, Ryan, Catalina, Maggie, Anna, and Victoria. And Anna is just so hating Brittany. This is where she starts. And then enter Ben Higgins, because we haven't seen Ben Higgins in a while, and it's the Bachelor, and so we got to throw him on here.
Of course. He belongs.
So he
His
says
family.
he's planned this date for Matt, and it's a scavenger hunt, but like a fall-themed scavenger hunt.
Why do they keep lying to us about this shit?
I
Why do
literally
they keep
hate
saying
it.
this?
Stop lying to me.
My God.
Also, if he planned this date, then Ben, what the fuck? So it's a fall into love fest, and it's an obstacle course. And the first thing they have to do in said obstacle course is literally sit in a massive pumpkin. Like, I don't know if you've ever watched, have you ever watched the Food Network pumpkin Halloween carving shit contests and stuff?
I
because
think
it's like-
they were fiberglass.
It used
like
to
I
be
think
one
that
of-
they were plastic. The sound that it made when it hit the dock, because I was wondering, I made a note. I was like, "Are these fucking real ass pumpkins?" But there was a sound that it made when someone pulled
Yeah.
up to the dock to get out. That I was like, "Oh, it sounds like that, like really shitty, not styrofoam, but like that." You know what I'm talking about? That like plastic glassy shit.
Yeah, maybe. But I don't know, because it looked pretty. They looked pretty real to me, and they were.
They
all
did look
different
real, but I think
and
I
they
feel
were
like they
all
were like
different
painted and
sizes,
fake.
so it's like sizes and shapes and holes. But it's because my point was on the Food Network, on those Halloween pumpkin carving competition shows, there are pumpkins that big. Like,
Oh, I
they're-
know.
oh yeah,
but I
those
don't think
shows-
those are real.
Either way, they are in what look to be massive fucking pumpkins, and they are literally sitting all the way in the pumpkin. The pumpkins are mostly submerged in the water. It's crazy to watch. So they have to row themselves across this water. Poor Maggie gets she's just stuck. She cannot get it.
Oh my God.
She is just like, I hate this. It's so funny.
There was one point where it actually captioned disheartening music over her
My
just
God,
like kayaking by herself. It was so funny.
That's amazing. Then we have the men are literally watching them with binoculars, which, oh God, which binoculars are a common prop in this episode. We'll mention them later. Victoria up first with her. She got out of the row first, but then they're all struggling into these squirrel costumes. This was absurd to me.
Unnecessary.
So in onesies, like squirrel-like onesies, and they have these little hats on, and they have to dig in a massive pile of leaves that is ridiculous to me. I'm like, where do they get these leaves? They just put it in a huge pile, and they have to find a stuffed acorn with their name on it, and then they have to carry that in their mouth, aka what they say, like a squirrel.
Wait, did we ever see where Anna hid Brittany's?
No, well, it's also like she probably hid it in the pile, but like far away from where Brittany was looking or something.
Because I was
Either way.
genuinely wondering, like,
It
where
was
the
so
fuck
dumb.
would she have even hidden it?
Like eventually you'd have to find it. Like,
Yeah.
so, but
Anyway,
so
sorry.
this is when the competitiveness starts. Anna's like, the OGs need to win. And then I found Brittany's acorn and hid it. And then they look absurd running around in these outfits holding a stuffed acorn in their mouths, their whole ass mouth. Maggie is still struggling in the water, and they just keep showing her. Tragic. And they're like,
Fucking
pedal. They're like, you gotta
come on, Maggie.
forward like this. And they're trying so hard. She's like, I can't do it. I love it. I was like, this is fucking hysterical. Then they run around and Mari wins, of course, the Aries Stellium, wins everything. And then they give her a trophy and they say, these nuts are yours. And I hated it. All right, that was that on that. And then they go to the night portion of the date. And the first thing Anna says in the caption is, or in the interview is, none of us wanted to wear a squirrel costume, but we do it. Like, you don't have to, just don't do it. Fuck it. You don't have to put
we saw from fucking Kelly Flanagan that the rules don't matter.
Just get your acorn. You don't have to fucking get dressed. Jesus Christ. So this is when she's excited because Matt grabs her first, probably because the producers were like, get her, so that Brittany can interrupt her. And then
obviously
Anna says she's got a plan and she tells Matt, this is the most annoying part to me because this gave me Hannah, what was her name? Not Hannah B, the other Hannah.
Hannah G?
Thank you, Hannah G. I was like, what initial? Hannah G, when she's telling, what's his fuck? Dylan maybe, or Blake. I think it was Dylan, about how she's just so weird and quirky. I just like love charcuterie and sunsets. Like, this is what that felt like to me, where she was like, I'm just so awkward. Like, the situation's a lot for me. Like, yeah, clearly, she says she grew up boating and doing water sports. So it was annoying. That also to me was like, rich girl trigger, like white people shit, boating and water sports. As someone who grew up on a lake, that, okay, you have to have a lot of money to do these things. Like, it's wakeboards and water sports are not cheap. And then, of course, this is when they send in Brittany to steal from her. She blocks it, though, and is like, give me 5 more minutes. And then Brittany does a similar thing as to what Katie did with Sarah and stand awkwardly in the background. However, it was in a separate room space, but it was still within a window, and you could see
she
her
she was within eyesight, but she wasn't directly in front of her. And
wasn't directly in earshot, like with Katie and Sarah, I think. But
like, this is... Here we go again, like a victim of your circumstances. She says, she's like, I'm trying to enjoy my time with Matt, or I'm trying to focus on my time with Matt, but all I can think about is her standing there. And I'm like, that sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, I was going to say, bitch, you better
30 other women. But there are literally 30 other women that are also standing there right on the other side of that door that are waiting to steal him from you.
Yeah.
What the fuck does it matter?
It's like this false fantasy of like, I'm the only one here.
I don't get where her head's at. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Because we have like Sarah last episode, like, I'm not stupid. I knew what I was signing up for. And then you're like, Anna, did you know? Because you seem to be projecting hardcore at your ability to like step up to the plate. Like, you cannot rise to the occasion. So you're trying to like bring everyone who is rising to the occasion down to your level so that you can feel better about it. But like, just be better.
Yeah.
Don't be sorry. Be better.
Be fucking better. So then let's see. This is where I'm like, yeah, she psychs this. I said in my notes, I was like, she psychs herself out from saying anything. And then Brittany completes her steal because Anna, like, again, Anna, regardless of Brittany, like, Anna, are you not prepared for the fact that you could be talking to Matt and any woman could come and steal from you? You have to be ready to continue your conversation and completely tunnel vision into Matt, no matter what the fuck is happening around you. So look,
what does it matter that Brittany is standing there?
Yeah, she's botched it fully. And anyway, so then Brittany steals, and then Anna in her interview is like, I know some dirt on you. Don't mess with me. And this is where I'm like, oh, but Anna, didn't you not know anything except for the fact that she kissed Matt? Okay. And then Anna,
here now.
And this is when I fully, like, I was annoyed about Anna up to this point, but this is the point where I was like, nope, done. Like, because Anna and Victoria together are talking. And this is, of course, when Anna brings up the exact rumor and she says, so Victoria is like, yeah, she just lacks a lot of class and is so slutty. And Anna is like, agrees and is laughing and says, yeah. And so that's where I'm like, okay, great. So we're now calling this woman a slut, not fun. And you're agreeing with, like, back to, we know Victoria has been saying these things since day one. I don't expect anything from her. I expect her to be a bitch to literally any human that she wants to be a bitch to. Anna, though, up to this point, up to this episode, I was like, Anna seems chill and fine.
I mean,
No.
you saw Anna in contention with Victoria because Victoria was being so negative, and Anna was like, I'm not going to apologize for being a positive person.
Exactly. And so,
So who
now
the fuck
Anna,
are you?
Gemini. So now Anna, you decide you like Victoria because she also hates the person you hate, when Victoria just hates everyone, and you've
My
watched
God.
Victoria be openly toxic for no goddamn reason. You just happen to also agree this time. It's so fucking annoying. So this is when she goes, I've heard rumors that people, this is when she's got the teeth out, so much teeth, and her mouth is a square. Literally, I don't know how she can do it. I've heard rumors that, like, it's like almost as if she's trying to cringe, as she doesn't, quote unquote, doesn't want to say it, but is saying it because I just have to say it. She goes, I've heard rumors that people have told me to be careful about this girl, and that she might entertain them for money.
Okay.
Because
and
she knows all the
funny,
she knows all the rich men in Chicago, so that she may be an escort.
Can I try something super interesting? And like, I didn't think about it until you just said that, until you like reiterated what she said, and I didn't even catch it on my first watch or my rewatch. If I saw this behavior displayed in front of me, just as like a PSA, Anna is now the profile. Like she said, like, if I get her profile sent to me or whatever. So I'm assuming like an Instagram, like a screenshot of like her grid or whatever, you know, like the basic like profile.
Yeah.
If I saw a person behaving the way that Anna is behaving, and like hearing someone speak the way that Anna is speaking, Anna is now the profile that I'm sending to my friends saying, watch out for this girl.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking concerned with Brittany. I'm concerned about you.
Yes.
I'm concerned
100%.
about you and your fraudulence and your ability to talk shit like this about someone you literally don't know from a fucking can of paint.
Yeah, she's really showing the Gemini here, and it's upsetting because, again,
it's
back to
gross.
Not literally hashtag not all Geminis at not all Geminis. Love you, Courtney. But not all Geminis are going to be like this, but it's the fact that she's in a situation where she is at her worst mentally. So she, as a Gemini, is turning to those classic age-old, like, behind your back gossip and all rumor spreading,
like you
and
are
shit
your
talking.
environment, and like she's in a really unhealthy environment.
Yes,
so bringing out like the unhealthy traits.
Because I don't think that she's probably, I mean, well, fuck, who knows? Because again, if you're doing this on TV, how far off are you from being that real person? But really, generally, really, like I'm not someone who's going to tell a Gemini that they're being two-faced, or you know what I mean? But this is a moment where I was like, damn, girl, you are giving these Geminis a bad fucking name. Like, you are doing the Gemini shit that people call Geminis on. And it's really stressful. So I hate this, because she's literally like, yeah, rich men, and in Chicago she might be an escort. I'm like, just because she knows rich people, like, and apparently they were kind of talk later about it being a bottle service job potential or some kind of club girl thing, but does not equal escort. Just because, like, again, oh, sorry, you get fat tips from rich dudes after you just like tell them they're hot at a club? I would, yes, please, Anna, girl. Don't even fucking act like you wouldn't be doing that.
Well, that's like, I made a note about that, because like the women start going into what they believe, or like what the stereotypical, like what the fuck ever, like what they believe an escort to be.
Yeah. Yes.
Like they go into depth about like what
rich
they think her job is, but that's where
she says she's just not even her job. Like, that's not even what she does.
And that's it. Is like, who are you talking about? Like, you're literally making up like a hypothetical something based on what you've seen in the fucking movies, what you've read about on Instagram, like what the fuck ever. But you're not even talking about this real person who's sitting right there. You are making up this narrative, and you are fucking running with it. And it was just, shitty. I'm telling you this.
We're back inside, and Michelle's talking to the other women, and she says, I know I'm here for the right reasons. I feel like everyone should respect everyone. And then oh my God, also, I literally, wow, I can't believe I wrote this. I go, I bet Michelle is going to get the one-on-one with it.
Yeah.
Because Piper is talking about how she's like, I hope I get the one-on-one. And the way they're making it work, I'm like, oh yeah, this is definitely it. And so then obviously the date card drops. It's the one-on-one for Michelle. It says, let's make up for lost time. And then everyone is like pissed that Michelle is the new girl is getting a one-on-one. Like, so sorry about it, girl. He likes her. She gets her guard. We're back to the date. Bree's talking to Matt. She says she's like insecure in the squirrel suit. And he's like, no, you look cute. But then she says it's challenging, and it's all vague bullshit, just kind of like the normal Matt and Bree thing. Matt gives out the group date rose, and he does this weird thing. So in Tayshia's season, it was pretty consistent where she would like list men before the group date rose.
She'd go over all the positives.
Every date.
Yes.
However, Matt hasn't been doing that, and except for this episode, and I fucking know it's because the producers told him to say this stuff, because the way he is speaking before giving out the group date rose, extremely robotic, extremely bad acting. Like he's having to say, I was like, he shouts out both Brittany and Anna, and he's like, you know, there was some
Shannon,
good, he doesn't even say good things. He's like, there were some good things about your conversation, and then there were some good things about yours too, Anna. Do you have it written down?
Seconds. Hold on. You keep talking. You're gonna get a picture of what I sent.
Oh yeah. And so I literally am watching this. I'm like, what the fuck? And then he gives it to fucking Bree, which is so funny for me because in that moment I was like, damn, Matt was like, they made him do this. And then he was like, you know what? I'm just gonna like, I wonder in that moment if he told them. This is my first thought.
I can't wait for you to see my notes. I can't wait for you to see what I wrote.
He puts it up between Brittany and Anna, and of course he's gonna give it to Bree. Yeah, because it's just like, it's so funny to the fact that he is just like, you know what? They want me to give it to one of these girls to stoke their problems, but I'm gonna give it to Bree.
Because I fucking like Bree. And
also, like, that was the moment too where when he gave it to her, I was like, I mean, not that I don't love Bree, I think she's great, but it's just like y'all's conversation warranted the rose. Okay.
I think he has like there was some weird, I remember reading this weird thing one time that you're like more likely to live on a street, like you're more likely to purchase property on a street that has like similar phonetics or like the same first initial, like something to your name, like something that like drives back to your narcissism and like you're drawn to places that remind you of you, and like you are attracted to people that like are like you, that mirror you, and it's like your ego driving this. And I think he like, maybe even in his mind it's inexplicable, like he can't understand why he's so drawn to her, but us as viewers we're like, you are so drawn to her because you're looking in a mirror and it's your ego being like, I'm so dope.
It's absolutely that. Like it reminds me of this episode of Broad City where Alana hooks up with a woman who is played by from Arrested Development. I can't remember her name. Aaliyah Shawkat. But she is played, and they like, and they are so like they have a moment in the episode is fucking hilarious. I highly recommend. I think it's
everyone go watch it. It's so funny.
Season 3 is my guess. I can't remember, but it's
I remember the episode.
I think it's the coat closet. It has oh my god, it's the same episode with Kelly Ripa in it. Truly an iconic episode. But the whole point is that Alana and this girl look almost identical. And they immediately see each other and have a whole like eyes locked across the room and are attracted to each other. They meet each other and they're like, wow, I was looking for you. And then they just make out. And then they just like introduce her to Abby. And then Alana's like, I don't know what it is about this girl. I just think she's amazing. And as Abby hugs her by, she's like, Alana, this girl looks exactly like you. And it just like flips the switch into
like the glass shatters.
And that's like, exactly what I'm waiting for with Matt and Bree, because it's harder with a man and a woman, but even to me, I think they look alike. The way their faces are shaped, their chin,
and also even smile, like the way that they carry themselves, eyes, like their mannerisms are the same, like they are similar.
He just has the whole man scruff facial features versus her nice, smooth, perfect skin. And it's like looking at them together, I'm like, damn, these two really do just like, it's a full mirror. So you're right. Anyway.
Like the strong jaws and like all that kind of stuff.
Yep. And so she gets the rose. Anyway. And then Anna's like, if her intentions, we're just talking more about Anna and Brittany. And she goes, if her intentions are ill, that messes with my feelings.
Oh my God. Anna like takes it upon herself to be the fucking intention police. And it's like, you know Matt so well that it's your job to like determine who's here for him and who's not. Are you joking?
Well, and this is the moment too, she starts fucking telling Brittany to her face, or asking vaguely. She's just like, so she asks Brittany, are your intentions pure? And then she tells her about the rumors and the messages she got. And if she's like, and it seems like you're an escort. And she goes, and it is an awful thing to say about someone, and I apologize, but.
Well, it's because Brittany's like, but it's like Brittany literally says to her, like, you told the people in the house this? Like, before you even asked me about it, you've like already spread this and told people this without even like saying hello to me first.
Yep. Brittany is an Aquarius sun. Oh, wait, I already did this. Aquarius sun, Scorpio moon. What's funny is I know someone who's an Aquarius sun, Scorpio moon, Capricorn Venus, just like her. And it's funny, they kind of look similar, except for my friend is a Pisces rising, so she's got this more like mermaidy look. But it's funny to me because I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking about what my friend would have been doing in this situation. And this is exactly how she would have responded, I think, which is just like, so you were telling other people? Like, why would you do that? Like, she's not even reacting emotionally. And she says in her interview that she doesn't usually get emotional, but like this is really getting her to the point where she could cry. And she's a Scorpio moon. Of course, she's trying to be like, I don't get emotional. I don't have feelings, which she has all of the feelings. She's just trying to hide it behind that Aquarius. Like, nope, we're fine. I'm fine. No feelings. But it was upsetting that this conversation happened in front of everybody. And then, hang on, I lost my point in my notes because I had to shift to where they were listening.
It was just, and I really want to say,
why were people sending, she asked, why were people sending warnings to me? And then this is when Brittany's like, I'm not an escort. That's ridiculous. I had a boyfriend since I was 16, which honestly, that tracks. Capricorn Venus, Aquarius Sun, absolutely was probably in a very long, and even if it wasn't the same boyfriend, that her chart screams monogamous, serial monogamous person who is constantly dating long relationships. So that when she said that, her chart immediately blanked or clinged in my head. I was like, oh, yep, that makes sense. That makes sense to her. I don't feel like that's a lie. I feel like that's accurate. And so she's just like, I've had a boyfriend since I was 16. And then why would you make a conclusion about me before you even know me? That's shit. And she says that directly to Anna's face. And I was like, oh, love it. And then in her interview that's when she's like, I just feel like everyone's against me right now. And that's where she says that I'm emotional. I'm not very emotional, but I could cry. And then Victoria, while this is happening, you have the wine. You could do it. She literally sits there. She makes a point to pick up the champagne glass and sit back with all of the drama she was involved in, but not saying anything, and sips the champagne. Like,
I have to say, like, I know that this show is like in entertainment and all in good fun and whatever. But this is like a moment in my notes where I genuinely wrote that like the bar's on the floor for Victoria. We think Victoria is a mean girl. We don't expect much from Victoria because she set such a low standard that we don't really have any expectations for her. Yeah. But Anna, like I said, like we reiterated this earlier, like Anna started the season by saying like, I'm so positive, like I'm so happy, like I'm such whatever. And I just want to say, Anna, if you're listening, if you know Anna and you're listening and you want to go ahead and relay this message, like based on this behavior that was displayed on my television tonight, Anna should be fucking ashamed of herself in the most legitimate way. If she's already learned and realized and bettered herself, then that's fucking awesome. To see it. And if she hasn't, I hope that this is a fucking wake up call and prompts her to. And if she hasn't, she should still be really, 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 really ashamed. Like genuinely, you should watch this and feel embarrassed for how you spoke to this woman. I don't care about the unedited footage or like the footage that we didn't see. I don't care about any of that. What I did see was heinous enough and was incredibly inappropriate, incredibly uncalled for. And as we see Katie bring it up later, like this is something that could like ruin someone's life. Like this is something that could, especially because like I said, you're not saying this to your girlfriends at brunch. Like you're saying this on a stage that is being broadcast to millions and millions of people, multiple millions of people. So like,
yeah,
go the fuck up.
I just went to check Anna's Instagram. So
talk to me about it.
After last week's episode, despite what anybody believes about Sarah and whether she was bullied or not, whatever. Yeah. Both MJ and Kit posted on their stories text apologies for going so hard at Sarah. Mm-hmm. And Anna has not posted on Instagram in 2 days and has no story.
Well, I also think that might have something to do with the same thing that I texted you earlier, where like, I think that Anna might not have realized and might not have like understood that this was what was going to happen. And genuinely thought she was going to get.
She did change her bio though to as seen on TV with rose emojis around it, but she kept the pyramid scheme.
Don't also. Like message me about your.
But she added little stars above and below it. But it's funny to me that I just think, to me, where you were like, well, if she is, if she's learned from her actions, that's amazing. That's where I was going to look to see if she learned from her actions. Apparently and maybe posted something like Kit and MJ, but I guess not. I guess we got to have social media silence for days, huh?
So I'm looking at
Miss Gemini. I know you're on your fucking phone all the time.
Either way, it was fucking disgusting, and no one should behave that way.
No, she did not even post a promo of the episode. Meanwhile, last week she posted about the hot date. She didn't even post a fucking episode promo. I wonder if she did post an episode promo or she deleted it.
Maybe. Honestly, the preview for next week, which we'll get to, is they make her out to be a whole ass villain. So like I hope she was prepared for that shit. I hope she had some kind of inkling that like maybe they're gonna make me look bad.
Damn, girl. Well, anyway. All right. So this is
Really
when,
gross.
this is when Brittany's like, it's really hard to be here. And Victoria goes, okay, then get out of the house. And then Ryan in the interview was like, Anna's intention was to start stuff up because Brittany is a new face. And I'm like, yep.
And it's true,
all right,
yeah,
commercial.
for sure.
Yep. All right, I'm trying to push now. Commercial. All the women are talking about Brittany is likely. Oh yeah. Yeah. All the women talking about Brittany is likely to be a problem. Someone said that. Michelle. Who knows? Someone said that before Michelle's date. Oh well, fucking Michelle's date was amazing, but let's breeze through because we don't need.
Nothing
to
really happened. They had a great fucking time.
They went on a hot air balloon, which all of the women looked at through binoculars. Literally, 3 of them have binoculars in their hands. These producers literally were like, "Here you go, ladies, go snoop."
Basically, yeah.
But they do this like scavenger hunt thing, kind of similar to Blake and Tasha, Ben and Tasha's date with like where they hid the pinatas in the tennis court. So it was a similar vibe of like. They did a zip line, like an extreme scavenger hunt. So they did zip line, they popped balloons with questions. I actually really liked this idea for a show like this, which is the when they were popping the balloons and they had the questions, and then that was like,
with the kids in the same time.
Yeah.
Loved it.
All of this, it was cute.
Loved it.
So, and then, the hidden talent, which was Michelle is just double jointed. She could do the whole like twist her arms and then she could twist it back or some shit. Which she was a college basketball player, D1. So like I know
that's cool. That's something that they have in common. Love that.
Exactly. Then to get them in a hot air balloon. Oh, he says that it's easy to let his guard down with Michelle. And this is fascinating to me because Michelle is a Gemini sun and a Sagittarius moon, whereas an Aries, Michelle's chart is also fascinating. It's kind of got something of everything. Gemini sun, Sag moon, Aries Venus, Cancer Mercury, which comes up in my opinion, and then Leo Mars. So she's got that. Her chart to me screams former athlete turned teacher. Like the athlete part is the Sag moon, the Aries Venus, the Leo Mars, especially the Leo Mars, who's like, I'm gonna be on this quote unquote stage, which is a court. But the Cancer Mercury and the Gemini, and even the Sag moon too, are all of the like, I love my students, I want the best for them, I love to teach, it feels good that I'm making a difference. Like she says all of that on the dinner portion of the day after they make out in the hot air balloon very precariously. And then, hang on, let me scroll back down in my notes. Oh, yeah, fine. They have the binoculars, something about her presence puts me at ease, is what he says. And I think it's fascinating to have she's a Sagittarius moon. This is really common when you have the same moon as the same sun. So it's like he's a Sagittarius sun and she's a Sagittarius moon. It's like I'm a Sagittarius sun and Olivia's a Sagittarius moon. Like having that same moon sun energy can be really nice because again, what he said is I feel at home, I feel safe with her. Like that's literally her moon sign showing his sun sign. I got you. Like your identity is safe with me and my emotions. I have emotional space for you. And so that's a common astrological. Or another common one is that Pilot Pete was a Leo sun and Hannah Ann as a Leo moon. So it's like, even though he was obviously trying to pick Maddie, he still picked Hannah Ann. There was still that connection. The sun moon thing is actually, he's a Taurus moon. They had sun moon swapped. So interesting. But so then we're at the dinner and they're at this place with the cars.
I actually did Google this and Nemacolin has a car museum. Or a car gallery, I should say.
Nemacolin, honestly, it is a fucking lit ass place for this. Like, holy shit!
What a blow up from Nikita. When things are safe, we should go. How fun! What a podcast from Nemacolin on site.
I completely agree. I feel like it'll be extremely popular now. But anyway, but they're having the group date announced before the cars. I forgot, which is so funny because the group date is, are you willing to fight for love? And they all groan. They're like, oh. So anyway, now, okay, car museum. Matt's like, tells her that he immediately felt it with her when he saw her out the limo. She says she feels good knowing that she's making a difference. I kind of said that earlier. And then she mentions like being a teacher in a pandemic is really hard, especially with George Floyd. We get another George Floyd name drop. Remember when we thought they were only going to mention it once with Ivan and Tasha and never again? Nope. Here we go. She says she's got many students of color and that it was a heavy to talk about, but like parents were really wanting us to have that conversation with them. You have to start somewhere. Just that kind of general stuff of like, but good things to be saying, but also just like she's mostly getting all of the talking in. And then I wrote in my notes that she does an amazing play here and is like, and I know that you care about, or I care about what you do too. And she brings up his food tours and it's like, you do that with your food tours. Oh, it's so great. And you could physically see, if you watch back, you can see it. He's talking to her and is into it. But the second she said food tours, his whole body language, his whole face was just like,
he woke up.
Like you
was
you know
awakened.
What I do.
Yeah.
Well, also, point being, we haven't seen we haven't seen a lot of conversations with the women, but a lot of the women are mostly just like, you're so hot. Oh my God, Matt, yay. And the fact that she sat down is like, I recognize that you have this thing and I know that you do it. And it's really cool that you have this food tour thing, which is questionable at best, but you know, and so it's like, and then she quotes fucking Maya Angelou. I don't have the exact quote,
Did you
but she
hear him say her name wrong?
Yeah, a little bit. But he goes,
Sure.
I was extremely impressed that he recognized it and called it out. And she was like, wow, yeah, like that was, again, back to this date was a moment where I was like, these people are actually like bonding.
This could be a real life thing.
This is a connection. This is a conversation. These are conversations that I'm seeing like this isn't stupid bullshit. Like this is actually like things that they have in common. They've showed jokingly weird talents. We've gotten teacher talk. We've gotten food tours talk. We've gotten it's like they definitely seem like they are just like feeling each other. Same way.
I know someone who met her now fiance because he was talking about Lord of the Rings in a bar and she overheard the conversation and like jumped in the conversation and like now they're engaged. And like that's the shit I want to see on this show.
Yes.
I want to see like the real shit.
Olivia and I literally met on Hinge because I fucking clocked their Zelda tattoos. Like having those little interests that you immediately click on, it fits. And they had that moment more than he's had with literally any of the other women.
He says it. He confirms it.
He does. He confirms. He goes, I was like, wow, these two are really piggybacking off of each other in my notes. And then it said, it's wild to think, he goes, it's wild to think about how you could form feelings for people so quickly in this process. And then they sit in the fancy car and make out in the back. And he's like, I feel like I'm in high school.
But he says the conversation with Michelle is flowing better than some of the women who have been in the house for weeks now. And this was the key to me that I was like, this is why it doesn't fucking matter. All of those women are like new women coming in, like you're stealing our time. And I'm like, it does not matter.
Doesn't matter.
Like if you are not the one, you're not going to be the one. It's not going to take like X amount of time to convince him. That's not what this is about. It's not about like you taking that time to like show him you're the one. It's like you take the time to get to know him. And if you're the one, he's going to realize it.
Exactly.
Like, it's not a
she's
convincing
not sitting here.
You're not
like
doing
she
the art of
wasn't sitting
persuasion.
there. She wasn't sitting there saying anything that made him turn around and be like, well, how can I do this better for you? No, she was just like talking and he was like, oh, I know that too. I like that too.
Exactly.
Like, well, this was the first time I actually felt like I was witnessing a conversation instead of a fucking just like the women being like, you're hot. I love you. Oh, here's my thing. And here's my anecdote. And he's like, wow, that's crazy. Oh, wow, cool. You're so strong. Make out. Like this was a moment where I was like, wait, these two actually have things in common. Cool.
This was a real life conversation. This is a real, so, I agree.
Anyway,
tenfold.
Date was great. Love Michelle. Can't wait to see her in the top 4. Anyway, Brittany, we're back in on the women and Brittany is telling Katie, this is definitely next day, it's daylight. And they're like definitely in pre-makeup mode. This is where she's telling Katie about, you know, what's going on and there's another person sitting there. But I can't remember.
It's Katie and Ryan.
Thank you. So this is where Katie says people are going to throw things out that aren't accurate. Oh, no, just kidding. This is when she writes, or she says, Brittany says that I'm not a hugely emotional person. I can handle my emotions really well, but right now I just want to cry. which is makes sense for her. Katie says the petty mean girl stuff with Victoria needs to stop. And then this is when the date starts and Matt's like, these girls have some pent up aggression. And I literally in my things, all caps. Yeah, it's Mars fucking retrograde in Aries. Oh my God. It's actually literally what Mars retrograde. The actual definition is pent up aggression because it's inside. Retrograde is internal. So it's like all of the anger that usually a Mars Aries is just projecting everywhere is seeding inside of them and is just being fucking extra. So literally watching all of this whole season so far has been screaming Aries Mars because of how much they're just fucking having to physically fight or something. Whatever.
I had a hard time taking this date seriously.
Katie runs up with a massive, perfect hug jump. Love her. Love her. She got the legs all anyway.
Oh, the enthusiasm was unmatched.
A+. And then Serena C calls him daddy here again. She loves her daddy. Then Mia St. John is our guest boxer, who is a legit badass female boxer. So legit. Then they just have to fight in front of a live audience, aka the other women. I hate when they say the live audience.
Because we know at this point.
Why can't this just be? Well, first of all, this is the exact date of Tayshia's Men where they all fought and the men watched. So that happened already in quarantine.
Yeah.
But they literally like get fucking creative producers. Like I know you're on this lot. We've seen this lot. We've seen the car museum. We've seen it. I know. Good shit. Yeah, they are.
For what? I don't know yet, but they're saving
They all start practicing and it's dumb. All the women get to watch a fight and then Victoria is like, I can't wait to watch the OGs fight. But then Anna also too was like, if there had been new girls on that date, there would have been blood. Like, Jesus Christ, girl.
Okay. I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, Anna,
sure thing.
So whatever. It's just fucking Wells is here to announce again. I guess he's going to replace Fred Willard as the general sports type person.
As
announcer.
we predicted.
Sure. Yeah. Anyway, they all just fight. At first it's Katie versus Jasenia. Katie wins. Serena versus Kit. Serena wins. Rachel versus Piper. Doesn't matter. I don't know who won. I think Rachel, maybe, who cares? Matt's shocked and kind of frightened, he said.
Oh no, Piper won. I remember Piper won because Piper had decent form, but that's when I made the note that like Piper has decent form, but none of these women can fight.
Cover your face, bitches.
Dude, okay. Listeners, I texted Shannon. I was on my rewatch this morning and I was actually infuriated that like they did all this, like, what did I call it? I called it like bullshit backwoods Rocky training. Like we have Matt James like back squatting a fucking cut down tree. So it was anyway.
That was obscene.
All of this like bullshit backwoods training, and they forgot to tell these women to keep their fucking hands up, which is the number one rule of boxing, is to protect your face, like protect your head. Always.
All of these bitches got hit in the fucking face or head or ear. Like, girl,
every single one of them.
This is where your hands go all the time. They were all down here. They were all like at their tits. And I'm like, no, you here. Unless you're fucking throwing a punch. Unless you were throwing a punch. Goddamn. Anyway, yeah.
Dude, I was mind blown because like the only punches that were landing, because like I said, these women can't fucking fight. Like it's very obvious that these women can't fight, and none of them have taken a recreational boxing class or even like a workout boxing class. Like that's very apparent based on what I saw, except for maybe Piper. But the only punches that landed were punches to the head and or face. Like,
yeah, it was absurd.
The only time that they got punched, it got punched here. I'm sorry, it was just crazy
to the point where Serena P. But to the point where Serena P gets punched in the fucking nose, popped full in the face. Like you can see the profile of her getting hit and she goes full back. Like it is like what you see in movies where they have the ding.
Crazy. The fact, and I mean, we saw that Matt James stopped it, but like I was saying, like the fact that they even allowed this to happen to the degree that it was happening with like the very clear minimal instruction to these women.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Whatever. We all know that they have unsanctioned fighting. That is not new. It's not new. So that part, they know that this forced violence is going to be violent because none of these people know how to fight.
But that's what I mean. At least like make sure that they're
no. Why would they do that? Because then that doesn't make good TV. So
then you have busted women for the rest of the season.
Yes, that's exactly what they want. They want bruises. They need injury. They need the ambulance shot in the previews. Okay, they have to get it somewhere.
You're right.
Like, come on.
They need the slow motion shots of the medic to keep.
They need someone with a bloody nose. It's actually not that bad. It looks worse than it is. They need that, but we didn't get it. Serena P though is icing her nose, and Matt. This is actually so funny to me because Matt is trying to console Serena, and she's like, "I'm fine." Well, no, I'm not actually. Like that hurt. Like. I was just like, yeah, fucking tell him. But I also thought it was funny because he's like, nah, gotta cut it. Can't do it. No more date. But part of me is just like, I understand like the need to like, this is getting serious. We can't do it anymore. But also like part of me, the way he was commenting on all of this is like, I think he never assumes that women have that much energy and aggression in them. And he was shocked by that. And I'm like, hey, buddy, yeah.
Matt was expecting boxing like this.
Yeah, literally like their boxing gloves. It's like, oh my God. Or that they were all going to be like, I'm sorry. Oh, punch. Oh, I'm sorry. And like, no, these bitches are fucking mad. They're mad halfway at you and they can't punch you. So they're going to punch these other women. Anyway, whatever. Talk enough about that. Let's do the next part. Matt has all the regrets. So then Rachel talks to Matt. She says she was overwhelmed. It's been hard. And he's like, she does make a good point. Whether we like it or not, we see the girls more often than we see you, and there's tensions in the house that are uncomfortable. And Rachel's like, if it's really meant to be, then nothing can change that, blah, blah, blah. God, it just really fucking bothers me that Rachel is like being unproblematic on the television, but so problematic off. She's giving me Mad Garrett vibes. Jurgen, Becca Kufrin's ex. Because on his season, he was perfectly chill and perfectly fine. There was nothing going on him on the show as to being problematic off screen. But as we all fucking know, he's extremely problematic off screen. So to me, I'm just like, why? Like,
yeah.
Rachel, I'm stressed that Rachel is going to be this girl who is going to be fine, but then problematic off screen. So anyway, Chelsea then talks to the group of women, all of the anxiety they had coming to the date, blah, blah, blah. Piper talking to Matt. Says he wants to do a better job of letting her know he likes her. And she says that she agrees, and then they make out. So, okay. Anna and Victoria are shit-talking the new girls again. And Anna is...
The rest of my notes are about Anna. I have nothing.
Yeah.
Anna,
well,
Anna,
it is.
Anna,
That's pretty much all that's left. So Anna's bitching about having no time. Brittany... Victoria says Brittany is serial killer weird. Like, and Anna is, they're in again, these two are separated from the women again, having this conversation on some couch. Like, why aren't you around Matt right now? Like, what are you doing? Oh, I guess, no, wait, are we at home? Are we away from the date? We are off the date. Yeah. I forget because this is happening on the sideline of the date and we don't even get a group date. This group date does not finish. That's what.
Right. We don't get the dinner portion of the group date.
Anna, Victoria then says also that Catalina is the dumbest hoe I've ever met. And Anna also keeps laughing. Like, they're just shit talking all the new girls. And then all the women, they say, all of the women are like, yeah, these new women shouldn't be begging for one-on-one dates, including, this is including what, MJ was my biggest number one, who was the most upset and aggressive and annoying about this, other than Anna. Like, I'm excluding Anna and Victoria, but I'm talking about the other women. MJ, Mari, Rachel. I'm trying to think of the other girls who said things, at least offhand, something. I think those are my big three ones that weren't fully screen time, but MJ had a lot of interview time to say shit, and I was and MJ also was agreeing too much with everybody shit talking. Like, I was fucking bothered by MJ, and it's funny to me that she apologized last week. So goddamn, MJ, can we get another one this week since you seem to be having issues, Sagittarius, though, we do get into trouble for saying shit that just falls out of our mouths. So hey, MJ, quiet. Just put in it.
Think first, then speak.
So, and then this is when all the women are shit talking, and then this is when Katie tries to stop it. The group of women shit talking the new women, and this is when they call themselves the varsity squad. And then also, I hated this, but I saw it in the closed captioning. Snorts. People were literally like, when Katie said, "Hey guys, could we just not do this?" Someone was like, okay, like, oh my god, like, it's just so aggressive for no fucking reason. Again, like, these women have done nothing to you but show up. It's your fucking fault you don't have time for that, Matt. It's the producer's fucking fault that these women are here. You have nothing against. So anyway, then this is when Katie is like, fuck it, I'm gonna go say something. And she goes to find Matt, and Matt is talking to a large group of producers, masked producers, because again, you can always tell when they're talking to someone that's not on the show because they got a mask on. But so he's talking to producers, and then she walks up to him directly and is like, hey, Matt. And he's like, oh, hey. She's like, I just wanted to tell you, and I wanted to address something directly with you, the bullying that's going down in the house. And then what's funny is finally, I have more names listed. Piper admits to the group of women, I wasn't the nicest person at first. And then MJ and Serena C laugh. And then Serena C says, territory is territory. That sounds warlike, but that's just who I am. Aries sun. Like, all of these Aries women are literally like, it's war, bitches. And like, I'm like, damn, girl, okay. Like, I was actually so funny when we were running all of these charts and I saw how much Aries energy was across the board, either Aries suns or Aries moons. I was just like, holy shit, what kind of insane like headbutt shit are we gonna see? And I can't believe we're having literal war terms being brought up, like territory, fights, and warlike. And also, I think someone said, oh, Olivia just dropped the glass and spilled water everywhere. Anyway, it was like, and then they call themselves veterans too. MJ called themselves veterans. We're veterans. We know this. We see this stuff.
Even Matt and Ben Higgins, Matt refers to them as the old regime and the new regime.
Yes. Yep. Which, again, wild.
Why?
I literally cannot wait after we finish recording this to listen to Game of Roses. I feel like Bachelor of Roses is flipping the fuck out over all of the both combat and also sports. Back to the Varsity Squad, like the sports references. Anyway, Matt he goes, okay. This is where Katie says that there are rumors being spread that could literally ruin girls' lives. And of course.
But I do love how she doesn't, at least not that we see, she doesn't go into depth about it because as we've stated earlier, like it's not her fucking business. Like, and it's not also her shit to share.
And since it's also not true, there's no need to breathe more life into it.
So it's like there's no.
She can tell Matt directly, like, there are rumors going around in the house that are very damaging to people, and I just don't think that we need to have this going on, and you don't need to know what it is, but you need to know that it's happening.
But address that it's happening.
And she says, she's like, you need to just address bullying in general, like, it needs to happen. And he is fully shook, like, he's looking at her like, what? Like, he's like, he has bullying. No clue. What? He goes, I have no clue what that rumor could be. And he tells her that he'll bring it up next week, and then, of course, is when the episode ends and we get the preview of next week, which is just so much fucking crying, like mostly crying. Matt saying the word safe space, wants to create a safe space. Jasenia said something, you have to own up to things you've done. And then someone is physically saying she's physically sick, kind of a saying.
I think it's Victoria.
Sarah-esque, like, I'm feeling faint, I'm gonna pass out, I'm sick or whatever. But yeah, it just seems like a lot of dramatic preview bullshit sorry, I ordered food and it was just getting here. Okay. Olivia has headphones in and I was like, go get it. But yeah, then it's an outro, which is him and Maggie. And I'm kind of sad that the woman who's like the most clearly like ethnic with her thick accent, African accent and all that, it's like bums me out that she's kind of being used as the comic person. Like, she has no screen time except for her being stuck in a pumpkin and now being like, dance for me, Matt. And she's like, I want to see you dance. And she's so cute. I think Maggie is fucking hilarious, so adorable, like, want to be her friend. But she's like it was actually so funny. She was like watching him.
Show, though. We knew
she was watching him like this, and she's like, if you can see me on the YouTube, she's like, oh yes, dancing, and he's like doing these ridiculously dumb dance moves. I hated it, but she's so cute, and he's silent dancing. It's very funny, but I wish that she wasn't being put in this role. So yeah, wow, what a fucking episode of recording. We've done so much, and I feel, yeah, there was too much Bachelor news prior to this to have to talk about, but wow, Anna, do fucking better.
And the questions that we've got that if you want to blow through them really quick.
Oh my God, I want to see some. Yeah.
The only one that we really haven't gone over so far, because it wasn't really pressing in this episode, is why did Matt and Rachel signs work well together? Why would they work in a relationship together?
Wait, Matt and who? Sorry.
Rachel.
Because Rachel, let me look at her chart again. First of all, Rachel Libra. So yeah, so her chart is really nice for Matt, like synastry wise. First of all, Libra and Sagittarius is a very common pairing. They're kind of two signs that can handle each other's aloofness. Like Libra is very happy to be out and socializing and flirting with other people. And like, because Libras are the classic people who have like, if they're single, they have like 5 hoes. You know what I mean? Like they're constantly texting their hotation. But when they're dating someone, it's like, they are usually very all in, but they kind of are like, well, let's just like go out and fun and have some flirty times. So like we could be flirty with friends and it's no big deal. And Sagittarius does not mind. So Sagittarius Libra tends to do similar. They act similarly in relationships. Sagittarius is more bold and leads the Libra person into doing the fun stuff, where the Libra is up for most things. However, she has an Aries moon and a Leo Venus, and that's where the fire in her is matching up to Matt. So like he has a Sagittarius Venus. Oh, no, just kidding. He has a Libra Venus. That's right. He has a Libra Venus, which is also great for the fact that her sun is in Libra, and she's essentially shining her literal sunlight on his Venus. So he's feeling probably very seen, not in a bad way, but like seen in the like, wow, this relationship feels nice. And she really sees who I want to be in a relationship. And also she's got Mercury Virgo. So it's very funny to me that he has that one little Virgo placement in his Jupiter. And so she has this also one little Virgo placement. And then Mars and Leo, he's got a Mars Sag. Like she's got enough fire to up the air. Cause sometimes air people get annoyed. Sagittarius get annoyed with air people sometimes. Cause it's like, can we have a steady one thought moment? Because Sagittarius are very like opinionated. This is my opinion, even though they do change their mind. But anyway, I think that they could work because of all of that, of common fire placements, Libra Sagittarius being a common duo, his Libra Venus, her Libra Sun. And honestly, she gives me Libra rising vibes as well. And that's just, she's... Honestly, like this is going to sound kind of mean, and this is not about Libra, this is about Rachel particularly, but like she's just very palatable. Like she's just someone who is, she's not really giving much on the show that would seem like she is that mean girl. Often is because Libras are so used to making other people their personality and not having their own thing going. Like Libras are the sign of the scales and they want balance. So they're constantly looking in their minds for someone to balance them out. And it's like if you're not looking, like if you're looking so hard for that, you're not thinking about you. You're thinking about, oh, I have to find this other person for me. No, you can do it yourself. You just have to recognize like, this is fine. So yeah, that's where I see it with Libra, with Rachel. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely think she's top 4. She's getting so many fucking Instagram gains that I cannot imagine that there's not spoilers out there right now that I don't know. And if you know spoilers and you're listening to us, do not tell us.
Oh, I meant me. I was like, I don't.
Nope. I was telling to the listeners. The only other thing though too about Rachel is it's like, if she's getting all these followers, I'm like, damn, Rachel, are you getting the MAGA train following you?
Right. And that's what you said about it. It's like, maybe it's not like ring follows, like maybe it's not spoil follows, but it's like the conservative white follow.
Yeah. Like all of them getting their, catching wind of
their
fact
kindred
that she's
spirit shit.
Yeah. So anyway, all right. I gotta go because I got Chinese food to eat.
You got one more thing to do, ma'am.
Oh, hey, I actually have I have thoughts. So
give them to me.
My moon sign guess for Matt this week is Sagittarius.
Oh my God.
I have shifted.
Switching it up.
I have shifted from my continual guess of Scorpio, but based on this episode alone, I'm getting Sagittarius moon, and I'm getting that because a Sagittarius moon's reaction to that rumor would like what Katie said. He was like, I had no idea what it could be about. Oh my God. I'm just like, I'm just like, dude, the Scorpio moon will show next episode if he can handle this heaviness but also the way that he was talking about Michelle, that was where it was giving me the sag moon, is watching his date with her. They were so just in it on each other's page, everything, that it makes me seem that they might have the same moon sign, because same moon sign relationships are like that, where you just feel comfortable. You don't understand why. You're just like, oh, this is so nice, and I feel like they get me, and we come from similar places. That's same moon sign. So that's how I feel about that. And then honestly, the rising I'm still a little iffy on, but I'm starting to kind of lean on Virgo rising.
Virgo?
Which is weird because he doesn't give me as much Virgo rising look, but he does give me some similar uniform vibes. Obviously he's wearing suits, that's one thing, but like in his date outfits, he's always kind of in the same vibe. But Virgo rising, because he would put his Jupiter, ooh, Scorpio, Libra rising. I love it. You're my episode 2 guest. What makes you think Libra rising?
So kind of in the same, so it's interesting because like I'm in the same kind of lane as you, because I got mine from how he reacted to all of this shit, because like that's really where we got the most of him. Like we saw a lot of him on his date with Michelle, but it was mostly like giggles, laugh, haha, I'm having so much fun. But when we see him, this like brief interaction with him and Katie, I think that he will be able to handle the heavy shit. But I think that he's just like taking a second to process and be like, okay, what is happening? Like, let me understand before I think he's gonna be pretty emotive about it and like stern and like no nonsense and be able to navigate this really, really well. But I think that he's gonna have to take a second to be like, okay, let me just like, this is something so serious that this is no, like, these aren't games. Like when Katie stresses, like this is someone's life, he's gonna be like, okay, let me like, we're going to talk to you. We're going to talk to you. We're going to talk to you. We're going to address it. We're going to address everybody together. Like we're going to get everything. And then I think he's going to like send everyone home.
I would honestly love that. First of all, we need a mass exodus. There's way too many women for being episode 6 or episode 5.
I think that might happen.
Yeah, he has to probably send home. I bet you what he's probably going to send home. So I bet next week's one-on-one is probably going to be an axe date. At least if there's, like, you know what I mean? There's I'm trying to think of the amount of ways he could get rid of as many women as possible without it being a full, okay, you go. Like, I think other than a rose, obviously rose ceremony. Next episode will be a rose ceremony. So there's that way to get rid of women. There will be probably there was not going to be a one-on-one likely. Maybe there will be. Maybe they might squeeze one in. Especially if it's an axe date, they might squeeze it in because we had Michelle's one-on-one and we have to finish the group date next episode and then do a rose ceremony. So I could see it being an axe rose ceremony, an axe group date, a big exit at a rose ceremony, and then also 1 or 2 stray eliminations of like, nah, this isn't cool. I think this.
We're going to get 2 to 3 in the moment. Like, I'm going to walk you out now.
Yeah.
Like, eliminations, and then whatever we get from the rose ceremony, and then I think we're going to get maybe time for a one-on-one with all the drama that's going to go prior to him shuffling people out the door. I think it's going to be a really lackluster episode in terms of like actual events, but I think it'll be packed full of drama.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm hype. So can't wait.
I likewise, I am as well.
And anyway, all of you join us. Anybody listening to us, join us next week. We will talk more about all of this. More astrology thoughts.
Rate and review. Follow us on Instagram at Do the Roses Align. Check out our website. Check us out on YouTube. Follow Shannon at Astrology Chef.
Follow Jess at Jess Catula.
That you can do that as well. I'm not nearly as interesting.
Well, you post about steak stuff, so that's fine.
I post a lot of meat content.
So vegans, maybe not. But
yeah, if you're a vegan, you probably should not follow my personal. But please follow the podcast Instagram. Don't hesitate to reach out. Keep telling us what kind of shit you're curious about. Like, if
I'm constantly in the DMs. Like, I'm always replying to people in the DM. So if you DM us, I will likely reply to you, even if it's just like a random ass question about whatever.
We're around.
Yeah. But yeah. All right. Follow us everywhere and rate us. We're trying to make this shit happen.
Rate, subscribe, review. And we also want your feedback. If you like something, if you don't like something, we're happy to add segments. We're happy to remove segments. We don't fucking care.
We're all over the place. We'd love to hear it. So yeah. All right. Well, Jess, love ya. See you next week. I
See
can't
you
wait
next
to just
week.
be constantly texting each other all week. Like, look at this.
As the things are happening.
I know, right?
Guys,
Yeah.
we don't sleep. We eat, sleep, and breathe.
I'm
shit.
literally always thinking about The Bachelor. So,
Well, you eat your Chinese food. I'm gonna start editing this fucking video.
yes. Love ya.
Bye.
Bye.